Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Core. This is Core, talking about video games. And the only four-letter word you can say in front of your grandma and not get the Nana slap. Did you ever get the Nana slap from your grandma? You ever had one of those?
I've had grandmas, no slaps.
No slaps.
My grandmas were not the slapping kind. At least not to me. I think one of them would slap my father for sure, but not me.
Today, if your grandma danced, you'd say, man, my grandma slaps. You'd say that, right? Because she's all boogie.
Yeah, that's Gen Z slang, I guess. So, yeah.
That's what the kids say.
That grandma slaps.
That's right. Old grandma slaps. Better than grandma flaps.
I mean, but 50 years ago, if you said grandma slaps, you knew it was one of those ones that got out the switches and beat your ass.
That's right. And that's a good reminder that today there will be no grandma summing up games at the end of the show.
Yeah,
because
grandma's not feeling well.
She's feeling well.
Colonoscopy.
We'll make up stuff about why John's not here. He's having his testicles squished, just checking for bugs, and we'll see how it goes. No, he's down with some sort of flu, virus, who knows what. Been going through the family. Finally took him, just like Beau a couple of weeks ago. I shouldn't say took him. He's okay. He's alive. He's in the chat.
Fine. But it took him to possess. Took the wind out of your sails, you could say.
Yep.
So,
and he was very right up to the minute, trying his best, and he's finally right toward the end of or pre-show or prior to the show, he was like, I can't do it. And I appreciate
that's the annoying thing. You're sinking into it, right? So you're like, I think I can do it. No, I can't do it. That was me when I was sick.
Yeah.
Before the show, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. And by the time the show was midway through, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't do it. I can, so.
Well, I'm glad he isn't either. I'm glad you didn't, because it's more, we're a family and health first kind of effort here.
Well, I don't mind. I just think it's, the ravings of a sick person are not the most entertaining thing,
And then if you can't even do the grandma voice, what are we even doing here,
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point? Or Dear Martha, for that matter. I mean, who knows what kind of shape John would have been in. But we're happy to carry the torch and keep things moving. I want to do a quick thanks at the top of the show to Poppin' Fresh. He's in our chat right now. Very generous, awesome person in our community. And this week I was surprised when I opened up an email and found out he had gifted me and John copies of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, which comes out in July on Steam. That was extremely nice. Did not expect to see that. And then he was like, I know what Beau likes. Beau likes really good VR experiences. So he gifted you Arkan, is it? For
Arkan Age.
Arkan Age.
Which is one I think that was recommended, but when you're just like, I gotta more than recommend. I need somebody. I need this person to try it. So he's like, putting it in my lap and saying, "Go,
yes.
Boy, go." So
very, very nice. And people,
I gotta boot it up, and it looks sick actually. So
others ask all the time, and we're not saying to do or not do this, but people say, "Oh, I'd love to give to the show in this way. How do you do it?" If you're friends with us on Steam, and I accept all my friends, I just take whoever, and if they're jerks, I ban them. I had a scammer the other day who's a friend of me on Steam. First question they asked was, do you need this hat in Team Fortress 2? I got 100 of them, and I'll give them to you for bip, 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 bip. And I said, no, and then blocked him. So that was the end of that.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing is if you're open, you might catch herpes. But I've been more open lately too. But, it comes up. Like right now, there's someone called Bumflogger who wants to be my friend. And he's apparently got two friends in common with me. That's John and Scott. And I'm like, so you guys have someone on your friends list called Bumflogger.
Bumflogger, yep.
And I would be like, I really don't want to press accept, but you guys seem cool with them. So
that was the name of my proctologist when I got my colonoscopy on Tuesday. His name was Bumflogger.
What's flogging? It just seems... Look, I think if you meet anyone online named Bumflogger, you should not be judged for hesitating to
It's a rough one. I say
anyway.
I say go down to the courthouse, you turn over the $75, whatever it is now, and you change your name to just Flogger or even Bum. But Bumflogger? I don't know.
Or there's a lot of variations on the Bumflogger type of name, right?
Sure. Bumstead.
Yeah.
Floggenheimen. I don't know. All those.
Well, you know what the kind of names I'm talking about. I don't want to list them all.
No,
they're bad.
That's why I'm glad they classified Asperger's as just part of the spectrum. But also the reason they did is because it turns out the guy it's named after, Asperger's guy, was some kind of anti-Semite / abuser jerkhole.
I think he was a Nazi.
Oh, that's what it was. Nazi. That's what it was.
I think he was just a flat out Nazi or whatever. So
straight up Asperger. And to that I call him Asperger, like a hamburger. I call him that now. Anyway,
that was a joke in Community. Like,
oh really?
Jeff says to Abed in the first episode, like, "You're not a very nice guy." Abed says to him, and Jeff's like, "Oh yeah, well you have Asperger's." And then Troy and Pierce are like, "Asperger's, it's like a burger for your ass."
Yeah,
and that's
they were right.
Sorry, I know Community by heart. Sorry, I'm a lexicon. You say something, and I'll immediately reference it to a joke in Community.
That's your job. No, it's fine.
Movie's coming. Community movie's coming.
It's still happening, right? That's not a fake thing anymore. It's really getting made.
Yep. Joel McHale says everyone dies.
Holy shit, that's scary. Yeah. All right. They're not bringing Pierce back, though, right? He's done.
Probably they're blowing up Greendale, which seems like the correct humane thing to do.
But Chevy Chase is out, right? He's not interested in this.
Oh yeah. His character has passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that already. Is that a thing in the 6th season or
season 4?
I don't remember that.
In season 4, he dies. In season 4, season 5, they're like, "Where's Pierce?" or whatever, and then it's like, "Oh, he's just not going to the school." He had a sexual harassment case against him,
so
he wasn't allowed to be at the school.
Okay,
and then he died.
Yeah,
man, you need to watch season 5. He died masturbating.
To
death.
Really?
Yeah.
How do they? I mean,
he was making his will, and he wanted to give everyone his semen to carry on him.
Oh, is this why they put Ermintrout in there?
And Ermintrout is the old white man, like.
Okay,
and that's
I knew they did that, but I never saw those episodes, so I couldn't understand what was going on. It's
not like they replaced him, but they replaced him. But he's a totally different character. It's not anything like Pierce. It's not like he's a teacher, and he plays a very depressed person. It's like one of those, or depressing person that like just is shitty to be around, but he's still great.
I like how Omega 9 in our chat puts it. They did him dirty ... for a good reason. I like that.
Yeah. Well, there's like meta context to it, and that show's very meta contextual. But yeah, and then it's I'm gonna get this wrong. It's Keith David in the 6th season.
Oh,
places the old man.
I love Keith David.
Yeah, and he plays a tech guy. He knows about technology, and he knows all about VR and stuff like that.
Oh, perfect. He's the general in the Halo movies.
It was my holy grail. It's my Cheers. It's my MASH. It's my everything.
You love that show. You and Community go way back. Well, all right then. Hey, also, we already thanked him. Thanks, Poppin' Fresh. You're the best. I'd poke. Do you know what Poppin' Fresh here is in the States? It's that little doughboy chef, and you poke him in the belly, and he goes hee 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 or whatever.
Oh, is that the Pillsbury Doughboy?
Yeah, and he does Poppin' Fresh something. Right? Maybe I may have mixed my brands. I'm not sure, but I think that's the one you poke and he goes hee hee hee. You poked me right in the crotch.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think Pillsbury Doughboy does Poppin' Fresh.
There you go. We've learned it. We did it. All right. Well, let's get to what's going on in the world here on Core. Somehow, BlizzCon. Coming back, 2-year hiatus, but it's coming back September of 2026. September's interesting. It's usually November, isn't it? Or no, it's usually the very end of October, early November. So it's a little early.
I always feel like it's fallish, but it feels early. Yes.
Yeah, it seems a little early. They put out a video and all this stuff.
My memory of getting on the plane in Canada is that it was cool, and then when I get to California, it's like beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually getting a little cold in the rest of the world, but yeah, they did a big announcement. Let's see if I can find the page. There it is. BlizzCon returns in 2026. They say this is as of a couple days ago. Did it on the 11th, so Tuesday. They say the ultimate celebration of games, our games, and the community of the United States returns to the Anaheim Convention Center Saturday, September 12th. See, that's really early. And Sunday, September 13th in the year of our Lord, 2026. I added that part.
Our Lord Thrall.
The big question is, their first event is now 20 years ago, 2005. So this will be the 20th anniversary of the event. The big question is, what's different, and will it be? 2023 was kind of weird. That was a weird event.
Spencer will be there, and he'll have a T-shirt.
Yeah, it'll be like a T-shirt that makes us all think they're remaking some classic game that they won't remake. Yeah. What else? They'll get up there and go.
Well, it'll be a Heroes of the Storm T-shirt.
Overwatch 3 will get announced. It'll basically be Overwatch 2. What else can they do in 2026? I mean, it's easy to get cynical.
I don't know. Bobby Kotick's not there. I think the Overwatch meme can die. I think that was his.
That was push. You think that was him? That was him. Did we?
I don't think Microsoft's going to be like, yeah, do an Overwatch 3. I think I feel like they're smart enough to be like, no, let's like make a cartoon or let's do a different thing. Let's use the IP, but I don't think they're gonna. I mean, Kotick is like everything should be Call of Duty guy, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the memes continue being memes, right? You know, John will be back next week. If Overwatch comes up, we'll keep making jokes, I'm sure. But I think no to Overwatch 3. I think that's done.
So in a year, a lot could happen, but is it like 2023 was interesting because they pulled way back on esports for that one. It was the first one they'd had in person since all the sexual allegation stuff and suits and everything. It's when there
wasn't a lot of attendance in that one, right? The last one?
Yeah, had less attendance. You could still get tickets day of. I think they even had less total tickets available, but they, just kind of a weird time for them. It was also
sounds like a good one to go to, at least for access to staff.
I think so.
When I hear not a lot of people, you would think like, oh, they're it sucks or whatever. But actually, for an attendee, you probably get more chance to play at the kiosks and maybe talk to a developer or something like that. I don't know. Seems like actually kind of a good deal.
Yeah. As a fan, especially if you're a fan of WoW, you probably had a really good 2023. I think fans of Overwatch, StarCraft especially, certainly Heroes. Like if you were into all that other stuff, you were probably feeling quite left out. Diablo 4, though, was kind of hopping. That was the year we got the game. Yeah. So, right? When did Diablo 4 come out?
Well, I think so. It might have been that year. I can't remember exactly when it came out.
If we only had the internet, let's see. Diablo 4 release date was
June 1st, 2023.
23.
So, yeah, that tracks, right?
Yeah, so they were there talking. This would be the big, like, hey, we're on the back end of the launch. We're happy with it. Here's what we're doing moving forward. I think they announced the expansion at that point.
2023 BlizzCon was in November of that same year. Yeah. So, yeah, people were playing that. I don't know if we had the announcement for Vessel of Hatred at that show or not.
I think we did. I think we got a trailer or something.
Yeah. So.
My brother or my nephew went, and he told me he didn't like it because everything felt really sterilized. And I asked him what he meant. And he says, well, maybe it's just because they didn't have big esports areas like they usually do, not to the degree they usually do. He says that might have been it, but he also just felt like it was weirdly small, compressed, kind of all in one little place that mattered. And it just didn't feel like it had this sort of expansive, multi-game environment.
Is the tail end of the pandemic still being in our lives too,
Sure.
23. So
it's the first live version of the thing since
I went to a museum towards the tail end, and it definitely was like a lesser experience because of just the way the exhibits were set up to keep people apart and to, I don't know, maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I could see that too. Like I feel like I have a sense of what that means anyways. Just that, like, it's just stuff to look at, you know?
My favorite year was 2015. To me, nothing's ever topped that, although that year had all sorts of things that are my top. 2015 is maybe my favorite year of my life. I loved that year. I was skinny. I was the right weight.
Which X-Pac, date that for me.
That would have been the announcement and everyone looking forward.
That year.
That's cool. Sorry. That would have been right after Legion came out, I think. And Legion was a hell of an expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Had it come out, or were they just talking? I can't remember now. But anyway, I hosted a small Q&A with the WoW team on that. Most of those guys went off to either Hearthstone or Overwatch, but at the time they were all working on on that. And
what years did I didn't. I wasn't there that year.
No, you came 2017 and 2018, I think, were your 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
16 was okay, but 15 really stands out for me. 17 was good. 18 should be my favorite year.
1 year of Heroes official release.
Correct. And that was also a big deal, and I was way into that. But in 2018, where I did the Q&A on stage, that should have probably been the high point, but people were so mad at Battle for Azeroth, and we were talking, I guess what we were talking about then, the upcoming Shadowlands, which people were really concerned about, which they should have been. Turns out it was kind of a problem. And other than me and Chris pulling our little trick there at the end, it just kind of had a negative vibe to it. I don't know. That whole year was weird. And it was also the first year, 2019 still happened, but it was the last time you were going to see some of the people that were in trouble at Blizzard at that point. So anyway, it's just an awkward time. But coming up next year, if they do this right, they got money from Microsoft, not that they need it, but whatever. And if they really dig deep on what makes that event special, then I'm optimistic cautiously. I want it to be good. I might go. I might be there. Our guild's talking about going, the core guild and hanging out and having meetups and all that, which I think is great. I just don't.
I mean, the community stuff around the event will seem to be a primary driver for it anyways, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they show off the stuff and there's panels, but it's like, it's guilds meeting up and, seeing internet people, like randomly walking by day 9 while he's like holding court with like 3 or 4 people. It's like, there's day 9, the guy you see on the internet all the time. It's like everyone's just congregated. It's like a cool vibe.
Sure.
There's Darren Gregory just hanging out, talking about making cinematics. You're like, okay, I guess I'm just talking to this guy like that. It's cool.
Darren's great. He always makes himself super available. That guy's awesome. I mean, if they're going to do that, if that's the vibe of it, then we're in good hands. And seeing panels with voice actors and artists and the stuff that really interests me as a fan. Outside of the
Beau
games.
talking to me and Ryan for like a 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was great. So more of that, please.
Holy shit! I got full flannel. And I can see the whole flannel shirt.
Yeah, I really want it to be good. I'm not gonna be a hater on the post Microsoft. It's technically 2023 was too, but the post Microsoft acquisition version of BlizzCon could be amazing, or it could be just kind of also ran.
I think this is like you will have to see what it is. Like, what's the meddling level? Is it 0? That'd be awesome, right?
Right.
Is because the book, if anything, the book tells us most of the time the parent company didn't give 2 shits about Blizzard.
Oh no, Activision didn't care
until Activision came around, and it seems like there's just sometimes you run into a billionaire with a fragile ego that just fucks everything up.
Yeah,
and no allusion to anything going on now or anything, but if they actually just leave, there's like plenty of eras where they just let Blizzard do the Blizzard thing and things seem to be cooking. So, maybe we're back to that. And Microsoft is a very large company. So even though they spent a ton of money on it, it's also easy to imagine they're like, oh, we got this AI shit to deal with. Just like, go make your Thrall video game. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Now that you earn money for us, now that you're with us, and that's great.
I'll play I'll play a Thrall video game if they ever made a standalone single player game.
I'm not sure. Like, I know the other companies, like there've been some fumbles with production schedules or just Bosch releases with, Bethesda, like Redfall being an example. Starfield's controversial, but there is an element of maybe like the pressure to put stuff out the door is not great, because we're trying to get content for Game Pass. But I don't know what the dynamics behind the scenes are. I haven't seen any like reporting or like whistleblowy stuff.
No, as far as I know, there hasn't been anything like that.
Yeah, so as far as I know, the studios are kind of free to like make their game. They probably are getting some pressure though to meet deadlines.
Well, I know Blizzard loves their new and current CEO that came after all of this. I forgot her name.
Yeah,
they love her though.
Johanna Ferries,
something like that.
Ferry.
I was supposed to meet her when I was up there last January, and we just couldn't work it out. But she's supposed to be pretty well liked by the employees. Overall, the vibe there seems better.
Like it could be like there's this new era right now where they can stick to their pillars and do the thing. Like I don't know. I it's just what remains to be seen is, are they going to give a crap about their smaller revenue earning games or not? Like what does that look like? Like WoW is like solidly what it is, and upsetting that apple cart is like in nobody's interest.
Yeah.
So we know that's going to be a thing. Hearthstone, selling JPEGs is always great business.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sounds like we're in for another Diablo. The rumblings that media has been reporting is that there may be another expansion. Diablo 5 is not. It might be on the table. I don't know, but
wow, full game announcement would be nuts at this stage.
I sort of assume they're gonna kick the can again, because I do think Diablo 4 sales were quite good. I don't know about Vessel, but but again, it's always like it pales in comparison to the revenue that WoW generates. So is Johanna up there being like, listen, it doesn't matter how much money it makes. We need another StarCraft.
I love that it's Johanna, but also Johanna. Evocative
I didn't make
Diablo.
that connection. I think their names are spelled a little differently, but
I'm just picturing now. I just can picture her with her mace hanging by a chain with a big old Crusader
big shield, and she's just glowering at the dev team like, "Are we making StarCraft 3 or not? All right, let's do this."
And as she leaves, the horse appears out of nowhere and she charges out of the door. That's what I want to see. Anyway,
so I personally I think a lot of it, like I've said this a lot. I said just because not all of their IPs have to make big money, but for Blizzard to be what it is, they need to water all of their important games, including esports. StarCraft's huge. It's so important. It's so big in South Korea too. Like it's just crazy. Just do it for the vision. But anyway, it's not like they won't make money. They'll make some money from it.
I just want new games in those IPs, like you did with Warcraft. You gave us Hearthstone. You gave us Rumble. Like you do things with that IP. Let's just do more stuff. If Diablo 4 is doing well, great, keep it going, get a new expansion, all that stuff. But also give me a standalone, single player, first person, whatever it ends up being. But give me other games in those IPs.
There was that shorter that story where it's just like this mount made more than the StarCraft 2 launch.
Yeah, the sparkling mount.
And it's like, sure, that happens, but you don't get to the mount sales without the games underneath it, right? I can't just make a mount. No video game. I can't just sell you a digital mount and people will buy it in droves. It all works together. Is I guess what I'm trying to say, right? Like when you sell that BlizzCon ticket, you want to give some virtual items in your games. Well, if you don't have any games, where do the virtual items come from? How do I make So I just hope. I just need a StarCraft 3. I'm ready for new art. It doesn't have to blow my socks off technologically. I just want more story and maybe some updated units and all that stuff.
Chat says Heroes Reborn. How would you feel about that? Did you lose your mind?
I'd be stoked for a new Heroes game, but I
don't hold any hope out. Oh no, there's nothing. There was nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the existing game. Then they stopped doing anything. So why do we think they're going to do a reboot? They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just some investment in esport. And I just think that towel's been thrown in for that one. But Overwatch and the Hearthstone will continue on, and I think RTS is wide open.
Yeah, and keep in mind from a World of Warcraft perspective, we will be past midnight, the expansion, not the time. By the time this rolls around, we will be. This would be them just prior to the release of the third and final in the trilogy of expansions. So that fruition that got announced in 2023 will come to an end-ish, announcement-wise, in 2026. So this could be a very big World of Warcraft kind of event, for sure. But Beau and I would really like it, I think. I think we agree. We'd like him to give some love to the other IPs a little bit,
Yeah, or even do the new stuff. They're supposed to make a crafting game that got canceled, Project Odyssey or whatever.
I want to see that.
And a StarCraft shooter. What are they making? Are they literally all working on WoW?
Rumors another StarCraft shooter of some sort, extraction shooter-ish thing. So I don't know if that's true,
Right.
but that's a recent talk. So I don't know.
I mean, they jokes aside about Overwatch, there hasn't been a Blizzard game I haven't enjoyed.
Name one. You can't. They're all good.
I mean, I'll even give credit. Maybe Diablo Immortal, but
even that's good for what it is.
Fine.
For what it is, it's still good. Yeah. Like if you like mobile games with a bunch of bullshit,
that's more of a meta context than the actual. They made a bad product, right? So,
as far as I know, that thing is still wildly successful for them. They do good money on it.
Yeah. Well, and keeping in mind they're international, there's places in the world where mobile gaming's the way to game, and
that's
I think
all it is. Yeah. In some cases, man, I don't want that in my life. I really don't. I need us to. I need a diverse platform life. I can't be in a place that evolves wherever this is in the West, let's say, where it evolves into pay by the hour stuff or mobile game is the prominent thing. Like I need I need the freedoms we have now.
I think we're okay. I think we're doing just fine.
I need to be able to go to Steam and spend $130 for no good reason, like I did today.
I think that is an aspect that skews younger, and it skews in places where there's just not as much computer culture, whether it's availability or just people being into it. But everyone has a phone and they'll play a game on the phone.
We got to use skew more. I like that term. It skews younger. It skews older. It skews more technical. I love that term. Skew.
Right. Yeah. We gotta the gaming monolith that it's always tempting to lump everyone in as gamers, and it's like there's actually you slice up that pie 20 different ways and still have a robust market.
Yeah, and the mobile slice is bringing in a lot of money. Like
when we say gamers, what do you mean? Like people that are in their 10 to 20 right now, 20 to 30? Male, female,
I don't know
what country, what preferred gaming device in that country, or it's just.
Well, as a guy in his
anyone
50s,
who's speaking for gamers is it's very ignorant because it's
Yeah, I agree. Well, anyway, that's that. So BlizzCon next year, check it out, 2026. Either get ready for it or don't. I might go though.
I'm rooting for it. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. All you can do is
I don't know what to think of it. I'm concerned about, again, I don't want it to be the Phil Spencer show. It's fine if he comes out. Microsoft's part of it.
Sure.
But if we get a BlizzCon and it's and here's what's coming to Xbox next month. It's not why anyone goes to BlizzCon.
No.
Nobody wants to hear any of that shit from BlizzCon. So,
and we also don't want to hear gamers. We heard you. Copilot is now part of WoW or some shit like that. Don't be doing that. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about original StarCraft. Fox is what I meant to say. Star Fox. Yep. Do a barrel roll, that game. Programmer who worked on that is making a spiritual successor called Wild Blue, and I think this is exciting because, well, first of all, Nintendo has languished in that department in terms of that IP.
Hell yes. If you were like, man, I want another Star Fox game, holy crap, you're like a skeleton.
Yeah, and look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's got animals in it, so the furries will be happy. It's coming to PC, so you're not stuck on consoles if you don't want to play it there. Although I think probably it'll come there too. And this is just.
I'm just chuffed that the guy who made the original game is a part of it. I like these these old game developers coming back, almost like a classic rock band for a tour in their 60s or something like that. You know what I mean? It's I made Star Fox.
Yeah.
In particular with Star Fox, because that I have fond memories playing the Star Foxes. Not the most mind-blowing game in the world, but loved them. And then they just stopped making them. You like Star Fox? Okay. Enjoy your not having Star Foxes. I don't know.
Yeah. Not since what? GameCube had a game. I think that's
what I'm looking up, because there's Star Fox and Star Fox 64.
Yeah,
where there must have been a few other entries somewhere, on a handheld or something.
Well, GBA game or something. Yeah, probably.
Apparently, there was a Star Fox Adventures for GameCube.
Yeah, that's the last one I remember, and that was not a good game. Adventures was bad.
Star Fox Assault on GameCube, but it was developed by Namco.
Yeah, there's other stuff, and then they finally released Star Fox 2. The SNES
there's
game.
A lot of them. Star Fox Zero on Wii U.
Yeah. There were a few. Oh, really? It's like a whole new game? Or was Zero a remake or a... I don't remember what that was.
But it's 2016 reimagining of Star Fox 64, so it's a remake.
Chat room saying Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 were all single player. They had single player, but they were multiplayer.
They had single player, but they were multiplayer.
Hell yeah. Big time.
Sure, I'd take a Warcraft game too. And
yeah, whatever. We'll take it.
Debate settled. Or just a new RTS. Make a new one. I don't know.
How about this? Solid Snake looks like he might be in Death Stranding 2. Not really him, but kind of something that looks just like him.
I mean, I wouldn't.
It's no way to not notice, right?
You can't count it out like at all because that guy is, crazy. But
yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find it. This actor, I don't know who he is, but
Kojima.
He plays this character. What's this character's name? Do we have his name? It is.
I think it's like Luca or something. It's a 10-minute trailer, but at some point in the 5-minute mark, he labels all the, doll man. There's a character named Rainey, the president.
Let's see.
Yeah, like go to 5 minutes 38.
5:38. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
You'll get your whole cast.
All right, let's see what we got here. This is eyeballs, a cat with wings.
It's coming. There you go. I got Sam.
I love
Fragile,
her. Oh,
Tarman,
George Miller, dude.
Higgs, Tomorrow, Dollman,
Rainey,
the president. Lucy, Charlie,
Hartman, Red Samurai, Neil. That's it.
Neil.
That's Neil. Now, where's the
doctor?
There's video of him turning into Snake. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry for listeners.
It is towards the end. I want to say 8:30. Go to 8:30, maybe.
I think I found it.
Yeah,
here he is. So watch this. Watch his transformation. At home, we're watching this guy who looks snaky as it is. He pulls down his thing, makes a headband, zip zap zoop. Oh shit. Well, what you got there is a Solid Snake reference, whether they want to admit it or not.
I mean, as far as casting goes, they casted the right actor to, got a real Solid Snake look to him. It's not like they, had to touch him up or change him.
Do I have to play the first one to know what the hell's going on here?
I don't know. So I saw this trailer, and like all Hideo Kojima trailers, it's cool. I watch it and I'm like, damn, everything looks wicked.
I love it.
But I did play a bit of Death Stranding, and I Ziggurat bought it for me. Like, you'll love this game. And I played through, how many hours have I got? 2.2 hours. So I played through like the first couple missions, and I think the major thing that was a turnoff for me was the technobabble in this was offensive.
Oh, how so?
When they make up stuff, and it's like you watch Star Trek and they're like, oh, the Heisenberg pulsar is like off, and you're just like, if you don't notice it, you're just like, cool, it's a science fiction world. Some guy named Heisenberg made a warper or whatever, and they got to fix it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But there was something about the quality, and I can't specifically remember about it, that sounded real. It like gave me like I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast vibes, and I was like, I'm out. Like this is not.
So it's not that the game was making you take.
It's like a Jim Bros trying to explain, thermodynamics to me kind of deal, and I was like, I don't like this. Like. And maybe I'll give it another chance, but the technobabble needed work.
Yeah.
It was something along those lines of like I'm not like this, and maybe it's a localization thing. Maybe in Japanese it's better. I don't know, but I wasn't digging it. And combine that with the fact that it is a walking simulator, at least for the beginning. Maybe it gets better if you give the game a chance, because I'm sure this game has a slow opening. It's a Japanese RPG style game, guaranteed. Sure. It probably gets better after 10 hours or more. There's a hump you got to get over. But the techno babble that I was confronted with, I found offensive, and I was like, my intellect can't take it. I turned it off, and I didn't go back.
I thought I thought you were going to say they made me walk everywhere and deliver packages. I thought that was going to be your beef, but no.
It was that combined with that. Like I was like definitely not thrilled with what was happening, but you see there are shooting sections and stuff,
right?
So I'm pretty sure it gets better, and the graphics are nice. Like definitely the mocap's awesome. The vibe is like kind of cool, but you know, I think you needed to give it time. But then the weird sci-fi technobabble of having a baby
in your little
sciencey weird shit to
Yeah.
like tar ghosts.
See, that's the stuff I like. I'm surprised you don't like that weird shit.
No, but it was like the way that was being explained.
I get it.
Was like bad. Was like, you know, bad science fiction, and not the good kind. Like almost, it would be better if they explained it less. They were going through great lengths to explain, to make it feel convincing, I suppose.
Sure.
And it actually just made it, like, it just turned me off. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, they would have been better just saying the tar magic has covered the earth, and we must take the tar strands and the tar ley lines and tie them in a bow and piss on them. But, you know,
so Kojima then, really, is what we're talking about here.
well, I don't really remember that. I remember the Solid Snakes being like overly pedantic and such, but I don't know.
They had their moments.
I don't know. That was
weird.
just my impression. This trailer has made me feel like maybe I should go back and give it a second try. Maybe I was not in the best of humors when I played it the first time around. Maybe I'd gotten off of playing a game I really liked, and this game was not standing up to it and was suffering in the aftermath of a better written game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it really just kind of turned me off and made me not want to go back. Maybe I should. This trailer, I'm like, look at the trailer, it looks awesome, and it's like I should give it a try. So I don't know, but I don't like the idea of just playing something just to play it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't decided.
I might just, like, you know, recap video so I can get story stuff caught up, and then because the reason the last one I thought this of too, but the trailers, this one and what we've seen previously, do make it seem like there's a lot more going on than me just lifting shit and trying to keep my balance as I walk across the landscape. And so if I can get more than just that with story this time around,
it must get better. I can't imagine, unless it's really become a cult.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the game is nothing but walking as it progresses. You see their shooting sequences and big monsters and stuff, and you know, if it's literally just walking for most of it, like it's that would make it the most overhyped game, and I just don't believe that's true. I think we would have heard that.
Sure, I think so too. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Kojima coming at us on what's the month we get it? June 26th.
Yeah,
so,
3 months, I guess. So that's pretty cool for an announcement, not to be like, in 10 years, here's your game.
It's not far off, although it is 6.5 years since.
So I don't know. I got to sleep on it. I don't know. I'm kind of teetering on whether or not I'm going to give it a whirl.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But coming soon. Also, guess what's coming soon? An Xbox handheld, sort of. They're partnering with Asus. This is important to mention. Polygon annoyed me this week because the image they used is a Steam Deck. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
They could have they could have used the Asus ROG one or whatever the hell it's called, ROG Ally.
That's true, eh? Yeah.
Or the Legion Go S or something. But anyway,
maybe they're trying to will it into existence, because if there's an Xbox handheld, why not put the Xbox app on the Steam Deck?
I hope they do eventually anyway. I know they have beef with Microsoft, but there's no reason to keep that off there. They really should do that. But anyway, or you know what? Really heavily support NVIDIA's GeForce Now service. I would do that to play a bunch of stuff on there. Although my Steam games already load there, so maybe it's redundant. But all the other services I use, the problem with that is this device, the Steam Deck, uses an AMD GPU. Most of these do on the market so far. So NVIDIA's probably not wanting to get in bed with that. So I don't know. It's hard to say, but a long time ago, Spencer's made comments that, this is interesting. We're thinking about hardware in a very different way this time. Some people extrapolate that to mean, different OEMs making different kinds of devices. And it seems like this is confirmation that they're working on a handheld. Now, whether it will be directly Microsoft branded across the board, or if it will be an open thing that, hey, Asus is making this. I keep saying Asus. Is Lenovo? No, it is
Lenovo?
Asus. Is it Asus or
Lenovo was Steam. I think there's a partnership there for Lenovo to make some with Steam.
Yeah, I can't remember who's
or Steam OS on the Lenovo device.
Correct. Oh, it is the Asus ROG Ally. It's a version of that. It's an iteration of that. Whether it'll just have Microsoft all over it, including their logo, Xbox logo, all that, I don't know. But this could be interesting. And by, some accounts, everyone's fairly unanimously saying that device or the Lenovo devices are kind of top of the line, better specs, whatever. They've been out. They're newer. But my biggest beef is they run Windows. So then there's been additional talk about how they're going to streamline the way Windows works on handhelds. So it's not just Windows, the operating system, but basically a more Steam-like streamlined experience. Ironically, though, the ROG Ally is going to start using Steam, like you said. They're going to use Steam OS as one of the purchasing options. So they're kind of playing all the fiddles at once a little bit. I don't know.
I think it's just positioning it for a consumer. Like, I think there's a consumer that just wants to turn on their handheld and get to the game and make it easy to buy game.
Definitely not go to the start menu and use the mouse.
Yeah, and there's like technophiles who are just like, yeah, it's a console, but also can I do some Microsoft Excel on this, at a pinch? Like, so it's just like, who are they marketing it towards? Like,
can I use my 365 Office subscription while I'm on my handheld?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had some annoyance. Like, there was one week where Crofton was out of town. We're doing our multiplayer Baldur's Gate 3, and he's like, well, I can play on my Steam Deck. But, it is kind of a mouse and keyboard game, right? So, and he never bothered to, like, look things up beforehand. So when he's setting up, it's like, did you bring a mouse? Can you plug in the mouse? Can you plug it into a TV? Like, I think it's doable, but it would have taken some work ahead of time, and he was too lazy to do it.
Yeah.
Crofton's getting shaded. Like, he could have, like, I'm sure there's a way to get all that done. He could have prepped and been ready, but he just wants to turn on the device and it work. Make thing work, please.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. I get that. So I get how somebody wants that.
But there would be like a use case for someone to be like, all right, I want to set up my handheld in mouse keyboard and screen mode, and why not? Because I can, and
Yeah, the way I use my Steam Deck now depends on what I'm playing, but I have no problem with the way Zfon and Gladius and some of the other 4X games work using the thumb pad as a mouse, right trigger as a click, left trigger as the alternate click, right and left click. Like that, it works really well because really all the things you need to do are handled by those three major functions.
I think there's a coffee house snob in me that likes the idea of a handheld, but then when I'm at like the coffee shop, I can just plug in like a light portable monitor and like have a sweet little keyboard, and
you could do that.
Just do manuscript writing off the Steam Deck, like without a lot of muss and fuss.
You could. I mean,
and which would be preferable. So I used to do that with an iPad. iPad setup's pretty nice. Like, you get a little dock for your iPad to stand it paper, like lengthwise.
Yeah.
And you get a nice little keyboard for it. And it feels good. I hate laptops. I'm constantly grazing like the touchpad, pushing wrong buttons. Laptop keyboard sucks. They're also pretty heavy in the bag, in the backpack. Whereas, a tablet's nice. And maybe a tablet already solves that problem. But if I want both a tablet style thing and a handheld gaming device, it's like, why not something in the Steam portable PC categories? That's why I'm like, it'd be great if it does portable computer stuff, because then I don't need a tablet.
Right.
I don't have to carry 50 devices around. It can be my everything device.
That's why people like their phones for gaming, or they're people that are less... What's the word? I get why mobile has become like the end all be all.
I mean, you should be able to do it with the phone too, like plug in a lightweight portable monitor and a keyboard and just do your manuscript writing or your Excel, like whatever business work. Like the coffee shop culture, like it's still really a thing. You go to a lot of places, people have their laptops and they're out of the house, but they're doing computing, whether it's gaming or just whatever tasks they're doing.
I love doing that.
Out of the house.
Huge fan.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've done that, but I was like out recently and I'm just like, I should get out of the house and just like do some stuff out of the house.
It's a great place to write, think, read, whatever, but I like taking
getting out of the house is good for you.
It's good.
And yeah.
And there's something about that vibe. You're like at this table, you get a nice coffee or
I don't know if like what your neighborhood's like, but I'm in a pretty urban neighborhood. So there's lots of options for that stuff and I should take more advantage of it.
Same.
But that's where when like I'm like, oh, if I had a Steam Deck that I can just plug a lightweight monitor and keyboard into, it can become a workstation easy and it's not heavy to carry around.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a fan of that sort of thing. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens. There's a lot more to be said about that thing, but I don't. Microsoft's.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say Microsoft doesn't have any news about doing this year. It would be a next year thing based on everything everyone's heard. But Asus is supposed to come out with a second edition of the ROG this year. And the word is that device is exactly the specs of what Microsoft will OEM for with them. So the idea is that if you don't care about branding, you're basically buying the Xbox handheld this year if you buy the ROG Ally 2 or whatever.
I don't even think it's like a care about branding. I think it's like grandma has heard their kid talk about what an Xbox is, but does she know what a ROG Ally is?
No,
like,
she does not.
Sounds
Republic
like
of Gamers.
Yeah, sounds like ROG Ally sounds like it's something perverts get at the sex store, you know what I mean? So it's like, or a Steam Deck, like, what's that? But like, oh, Xbox, yeah, Xbox. The value of a brand isn't just people feeling like they can, experiment or venture or feel like it's what the people talk about so they know and safe buying, I think.
You know how New Zealanders say Steam Deck? They say Steam Dick. Did you know that?
Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's a Steam Deck is what you do after you put the kids to bed.
That's right. Get it out. Get that steamer on.
Only.
Check out our OnlyFans page /core. All right. What else? Oh, the Microsoft, we'll stay with them for a minute. They're going to start putting in little AI-driven 3D games and a bunch of stuff. The reason we know this is there was a TechCrunch article I found and talked about a little bit on DTNS this week as well. But basically, they have a job listing for somebody where they want to do 3D-enabled, AI-driven game. Somebody who's really into games. There's not a lot of the specifics about where this would apply. Browser makes sense, things like that. But this is the stage, Beau, where companies are trying to figure out what people want out of it. And I think they would be crazy not to do this. I still say whatever the big sensation with AI-enabled games will not come from big mainstream companies. It'll come from some open source little indie company that will get bought out and then exploded. But that's the direction these things usually come from, usually not the corpos trying to dominate it. Yeah. So I don't think they'll actually do it in terms of what's the viral thing, but integrate Copilot and with some 3D stuff. You might have a little dungeon delving game on your browser that runs up in the corner, very nicely 3D represented, all dynamic and happening in real time. And you play it like Zork. And you say, well, I guess go north, and your guy goes north, and the world is generated for real on in real time. These are just ideas in my own head, but I could see them experimenting with this stuff. They're all going to be, so expect this from everyone, not just Microsoft. I think Google, I think Apple, I think everybody has plans for this shit because they're all trying to figure out what sticks, and they're going to try a lot of little inexpensive efforts to see what starts to tickle interest, and I think that's what this is. So.
I guess as long as it's cost effective, that's the other issue. They're going to burn the barrel of oil just to play a dungeon crawler. I don't.
Yeah, there's that whole issue, right?
Know.
Like my daughter the other day, I said to her, she's very much against the power consumption of AI. She has other ethical issues, obviously, but one of the things we talk about all the time is the power consumption. She says, I said to her, I think I'm starting to use GPT more than I use Google for certain kinds of searches because it's more accurate. And their new search, I think, is pretty good. And she says, yeah, but you're burning like 3 times the energy need than you would if you just use Google.
What's the name of that movie? Let me burn down a forest.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that, and she's not wrong. That the energy needs of these data centers are just astronomical. They're building one near us. I cannot remember what my electrician friend said, but he said, to give you an example, a data center for all of Amazon 10 years ago would have taken whatever megawatt number it was. And this thing, which is just one data center for one aspect of this AI stuff, is going to be some huge energy requirement above what the old stuff was. So it is astronomical in that way. The problem is it's so out of sight, out of mind for people. It's like their steak. Man, that was a good steak. They didn't have to watch the cow get slaughtered and watch watch it get thrown into a machine and ground up for them and whatever the hell they do. So it's like that a little bit. We just, because we don't see it, we don't realize it. And I don't know how to solve that. They're going to get more efficient. That's the way this stuff usually works.
Once there's an actual legitimate, oh my God, we all love this use case, which I feel like
we're still not there.
The use case, it's not going to be for us. It's going to be for labor savings, like replacing customer service agents, replacing interface content moderation. There's no money in customer service. There's no money in content moderation. All these areas that companies are expected to shell over like whole careers worth of money for, if they can save on those things, I feel like we're going to see it in those interface spots. And like the internet already does that to some extent, right?
Yep.
Used to be when I call a taxi, you have to call a dispatcher and say, please send a taxi to my house. And I just press a button.
Yep.
Two or three buttons away from a guy who knows what to do, or girl who knows what to do, shows up at the house, drives me where I want to go.
Shows up in a Kia Sorento. You hop in.
Yeah.
Go uptown.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in AI that's like that useful for the human spirit, and it might make searches easier. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, the only use cases I have for right now are that kind of thing. Like I do use it for. So, for example, today's show is being transcribed in real time, not with AI, but with a separate tool I use. That's pooping it out to my drive, and then when I'm done, I'll take that raw text file. Which, when I say raw, I mean just like text dump. You look at it and you think it's a nightmare. It looks like the Matrix. Yeah. I'm going to then take that thing. It's going to be everything you and I said. It's going to take that transcript, and then I'm going to put it into GPT and say, summarize this into 500 character paragraph describing what we talked about. And it's extremely good at that shit. It will do exactly what we talked about. I usually don't have to tweak it or change anything. And I will have the websites, the RSS feeds, all of it will have this nice, concise thing that actually talked about what we talked about. Even the things I forgot we talked about will be part of this. Like use cases like that, it's really helpful. It's really useful. I think that
there's a lot of little things like that too. Another one I came across this week was, I know someone who just paints for fun. They're not a professional, but they're pretty talented at it.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is, just for inspiration, they'll spit out some AI art just for like landscapes and stuff, because they have trouble visualizing it, but it provides something unique. And then she can take that slop and then tailor it to like the vision, so it's like still a human making it, but it is AI assisted planning or prototyping or concepting. And I'm neither endorsing or denigrating it. I'm just that's someone's use case. They use it, they're satisfied with the results, and they're not a professional like even selling their work. They're just doing it for fun. Like it helps them with their hobby.
This is it right here, by the way. This is what it's building.
That's all the shit we said today?
That's so far. Yeah, there's more. Yeah. Like I can scroll. It goes.
Yeah, perfect. He's general in the hay love. It was my holy grail. It's my cheers. It's my mash. It's my everything. Yeah.
There's a lot in here.
I think I said that.
Yeah. What's this one? See, watch Star Trek and they're like Heisenberg concerts. Remember that when you just said that about Heisenberg? This is just part of it because I pulled it up before it finished. But yeah, it's going to make my life easy today.
I mean, shit, you're not the only one doing this too. I'm pretty sure. We were talking about this. I'm pretty sure something's listening to this call or this video broadcast and messing with my algorithm. Like, let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment. Let's talk about blackberries.
All right, blackberries.
I love blackberries. They're super delicious. I would love to buy some blackberries. If the algorithm could show me some blackberry vendors and also some blackberry phones, blackberry the fruit and blackberry phones. I'm curious if the AI listening could like just pump my Google feed, whatever feeds with ads for BlackBerry fruit and BlackBerry phones used that are on eBay, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see if all right.
Now you've done it. Now we'll see after this if in the next day or so we'll give it. If Beau gets,
it's not like I'm even watching my own show, right? Like I was here. Like sometimes I watch the show back, but like I swear, there's weeks I didn't watch the show back. You know, we recorded it, it's done, and then something weird will show up, and I'd be like, "Why is that in my feed? And where did I talk about it?" I'm like, "We talked about it in Core. It's not like I searched for it. Why is Google AdSense giving it to me?" And I'm pretty sure the algorithm's like feeding me my own barf, basically.
Well, I mean, we know apps send data between each other unless you tell them not to, and so much of that stuff's default. So it does work that way. The question is like, while we're doing this live, how much BlackBerry shit are we going to get?
I mean, the Wall-E future's coming. We're just going to have a catheter in our mouth, catheter in our genitals, and we'll be in a big, floating sofa, and the computer will know everything we want.
There's one, I always think about this, one medical thing that scares me the most, and it isn't open heart surgery. It isn't brain surgery. It isn't any of those very risky, massive things. It's putting a tube up my hoo-ha, my Peter. That sounds terrible.
Oh, and you're a catheter in your urethra?
Yeah, I don't want that ever to happen.
Dude, don't you like Dune? Like, that's the whole thing. You get a catheter and you pee into the suit. And
I thought they just peed in the suit. And is there a catheter in there? They got to put that in every time?
You think it just puddles in the bottom of their feet?
Well, I think it gathers in like stuff, but I didn't think it was.
It's been a while since I read the books. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of catheterization to make sure no pee gets out, because that would be, unsanitary, right?
Yeah, so but every time, like, does Paul Atreides and
one of the animes that I like, Knights of Sidonia, they do talk about that too. Like, there's like they're in mechas and they got to wear spacesuits, and in the spacesuits there's a catheter, and that's a whole thing they show.
Does the catheter, the suits do the work?
You're sitting in space maybe for days potentially. Like, you can't just pee into frozen crystals in your suit. It's got to go into the
dude.
Got to go into the catheter.
So my mom broke her hip, and she's been in rehab for the last couple of weeks. We're gonna go see her later today, and the whole time she's cathetered. And every time I think about it, I just go, "Oh my gosh, dude! How do you have anybody put anything up there? How do you do it? That sounds so bad. Put me to sleep and then give me a catheter."
The only thing I've had jammed up there is a Q-tip.
No!
For an STD test.
Oh!
When I was dating my girlfriend at, like, I guess I was like 18 or 19 or whatever, she just had like a thing where she was just worried that I might be, have a disease. So she made me go get a test that I wasn't sure what to expect. And then one of the hottest women I've ever seen works at the STD clinic. She's like, drop your pants and put the giant Q-tip. She's like, this isn't going to feel nice, and grabs my junk and shoves a Q-tip in me.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And swabs the inside of my urethra. And that's how they tell if you have, like, gonorrhea or whatever. Do
you know how glad I am right this second to have never
I don't know if they still do
this?
STD tests. That was in 1999, maybe.
Was it all blood? Might be blood tests now. I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
F
but that,
yeah,
though.
no.
F.
And that was the worst part is that, like, I found the doctor very attractive. She was actually like just and I'm like, I got to pull my pants down and not. You can't get hard here, bro. You're like 18 or 19. I'm just like, it's just like the situation. I'm just like, what is this cruelty?
I have regrets.
Different types of cruelty all in 5 minutes. Like, I'm just like, oh my God.
I have massive regrets about bringing up catheters now, because my groin actually hurts thinking about
I'm
this.
sorry. I'll stop if you're having...
Actually, I'm having phantom pain right now.
Phantom pain. Sorry. But I've felt it. And I got to say, like, I'd do it again because I know what it feels like, and it's not that bad, but also it doesn't feel good. I definitely would rather not have it.
Oh my Lord, dude.
But, you peel off that Band-Aid, and, once you've experienced something the first time, maybe it's not as bad, But if it's a phobia for you, that's different.
Oh, it's big time. I have heights, and I got catheters. Those are my two phobias.
Yeah, well, you said you'd rather have a heart attack than have a catheter.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like one's way better than the other.
Yeah.
Catheter seems like...
Maybe not a heart attack, but like open heart surgery, I'd take the surgery over the catheter.
Yeah.
especially if I'm
but not from that rushing doctor guy from the pre.
no, not
He's
from
like,
him.
you asleep yet? All right, time to
Start cutting in. Man, that guy. I don't know what.
I've got to go watch. I got to go watch a movie. Like, I need the surgery done.
I don't know what his hurry was, but he was hurrying. All right, good news. SpaceMarine 3 is already in the works.
Sorry, bud. I feel bad.
No, don't worry about it. It'll just ache for the next 10 minutes. And then I'll forget about it.
That's what this episode is. No moderating, sensible voice like John to be like, we need to stop talking about this.
He's not here to stop this train wreck. Do you want to play SpaceMarine 3? You probably do. It's exciting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we liked 2, or not 2. Yeah, 2. We like that.
I famously didn't like 2.
Oh, that's right. You're the one that didn't like it. I always mix you and John up.
2 is always like, I don't like it right now. I have to go back and check it out. So I'm still a Warhammer fan, and I still owe Space Marine 2 a second try with some updates.
Yep.
So I am also excited that there's a third entry. So this doesn't wet my rain on my parade.
Okay. Or wet your parade. I like that. Captain Demetrian Titus needs our help, and we're going to do it for him. They say, here's their quote. Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 3 will be, quote, even more immersive of an experience, unquote.
Nice. All right. Sounds great.
Okay. They convinced you.
Make combat just feel better. Hopefully they've done it this time around. There's just something about combat that didn't feel great. That's so, yeah.
Well, two got tweaked since I tried it. Have you tried it since all the patches? Because apparently that's
no. Like, I got to get back in there and give it a proper go. Like I said, I was very disappointed, wrote like a long review about it, got a whole bunch of clown emotes from the Steam community, but whatever, I stick by my guns, but I do owe it. I even said, I'm coming back to try this game after some patches. And, it's a game we've been looking forward to for years. You go back and look at the core archives, it's like, can't wait for Space Marine 2, can't wait for Space Marine 2. Mm-hmm. So, I gotta go back.
2 is on sale, 35% off in the spring sale. So,
nice.
What's the phrase? A fool and his money are quickly departed when Steam sales are on. That's the full quote.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That happened to me earlier. I get it. I'm excited about some of the stuff I got though. I've been waiting on a lot of it. My wish list is stupid. It's stupid.
How many are on your wish list right now?
600 something.
So okay, that's why.
It's stupid.
Listen. You've got to manage your wish list, all right?
How though? They don't give me tools to do it. I have to go manually delete each one.
You have to do that. Well, I mean, this may not be in your wheelhouse, but you have to go, do I really need to play this?
Yeah, that's true.
And decide to remove things. So like I've got 43. It creeped up to 150 and it was stressing me out. Because I'm like, I don't have this kind of money.
No, I'm never going to buy all these. Games. Even if they're all $1 each, I'm $600. Like, why would I do that?
I've got to make some tough choices. And like we talk about a lot of games. I'm not going to get to play every game. I just got to accept it. Yeah. I'm only putting the stuff in that I know either genuinely interests me or is a game I already know, like it's a franchise or something I already know what I'm interested in. But like on the show, I'll wishlist a lot of stuff, but then I'll go back later and remove them. Like I just took off Halls of Torment.
Just now?
Looks cool, but I'm not, just now, like, just because while we're talking about it, but I'm like, I don't play Survivor Lakes. Why is this on my list? Time to go.
Halls of Torment. Oh, right. That is what that is.
It's almost like it's split personality. I have the personality that's like, cool, sweet, let me add this to my list. I want it. Awesome. And then I have like Daddy's Home, and it's like, no, we have a budget. You're not getting all the presents for Christmas. So.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't, you're not wrong. I just don't know how to tackle 600 easily. It's just going to take me so long. Just make a goal. Should I make a goal?
You own so many games.
I know, it's so dumb. I already own 2,600 games. Like, why do I need another 600?
You just bought 10 today.
I know. I just got this huge new number. My family's going to be stoked because we're on the new family sharing thing, and that thing's kind of rad if you're in there. Quick note to people. This is a fun little thing I learned on Steam. If you're a Steam user and you're using the new family sharing thing, works great. But if you maxed it out at, I think it's 5 people, and then you find out that, like in my case, one of my in-laws was okay if we gave theirs to another in-law. Is that how it went? Yeah. So I took them out and then was going to fill that slot with the other in-law. and it said, you can't add anyone new until September of this year. And I'm like,
they've time gated
what?
it to prevent shenanigans.
Yeah,
like
6 months.
You could write a script and rotate out to effectively give yourself more sharing.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly why they're doing it, and I understand. And I'll do that. I'll wait the time, but they'll let you put the person you took out right back in because they already know.
That's like 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months out.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot, dude.
Maybe a month cooldown might be sufficient, but like
Poppin' Fresh says 2,600 games. Holy Christ, Scott. Here's the thing, though. Many of those were codes I was given by devs. I don't want to throw people and make them think I bought everyone. I didn't. Like a lot of those. A great deal of those are it's
true. We have unique problems. We have unique problems doing what we do.
Yeah. And I go grab all the epic ones even when they're redundant and I already own them somewhere else because why not? Just have them. I'm a collect them all kind of guy. I'm not a real life physical hoarder at all with anything. But I am absolutely a digital hoarder, and it's bad. It's not good. It's not good.
Like I have 729 games apparently, and that seems like a tremendous amount of video games. Like
I'll bet you beat more than me though. But in that 729, you probably beat a higher percentage of those games than I.
Yeah,
have.
probably. But we have different play styles. So, but I think it's still possible for you to beat more games and have 2,600. It's just the way we play them. But let me look at yours. So you have 2,600 games?
Yeah. Like the Atari 2,600.
It's to me 2,189. Maybe you got some hidden games on there.
Oh, you know what? That doesn't include... Sorry, I'm counting all of the new family share stuff, which you can see as a view, and that's not...
Well, I guess they count as games you can play, so why not?
Yeah, so 2,100 something. If you don't count everybody's shared stuff.
Someone left some comments on your profile.
I don't read those very often.
They're in Chinese. I don't. That's not how long has it been since you've been to your profile?
It's been a while. I don't really use it very much.
I just shout out. I think it's Chinese, Mandarin, and Japanese. I have a hard time parsing which is which. So
don't they have a some commonality? Don't they?
The characters I couldn't tell you. Like Korean, I can identify.
Let's go to my profile, everybody. We'll see what this looks like.
Yeah, go to your profile because I'm just like, what's this person trying to say to you? Is it spam? There's no links, so I don't.
It's my recent. Oh yeah,
is this guy just like, hey, fuck you, buddy? Like, what is he saying?
Both were on March 8th. Same guy. Can I copy?
Translate,
this?
Right?
Yeah, I'll copy it out and translate it.
That first one is I don't.
Let's see. First one. Wait.
Okay. So I have my translation. I'm not sure if it's going to be your translation, but
well, I'll try it. Okay.
I'm even more
It's
confused.
simplified Chinese. It says English. Lori, sweet girl, has a lot of skinny talk. It's so boring to chat together. Be warm. That's what it says.
Right. Mine says little sister's skin is often talked about since the beginning of the story. Don't know the context.
None of this makes any sense to me.
And then the next comment, I think it's from the same person. Beautiful prestige Kirijo. Information about the game you played last time. So this might be someone who listened to Core and wanted to tell you something.
They need to know. My native language does not. I can't do the. I can't. I don't know what any of this is.
Oh, we can Google Translate, right? And maybe you could. Well, I'm not. Like you could respond back and write something in Chinese and be like, "Yo, shout out."
Yeah,
I don't know.
So this rep good player one down here, Vampire 2022, Vampire Z Prudnica
plus rep good player.
I think I'm deleting that. What's this one? Another one. What is all this nonsense?
I'm looking at your feed. I'm like, these are recent. Like, it's. I think that the bottom one's 2022. So it's just like the top 3 comments are from this year.
Yeah, I get like 1 or 2 a year.
And that's why I just had to laugh because I'm like, who's writing me in Chinese? Like,
you like this one, Ugliest Sin in 2016. I never saw it till now, June of that year. Hey, Scott, are you enjoying your Vive? Welcome to the Matrix, Mr. Johnson. We've been expecting you. That's when I had an HTC Vive headset.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people, that's why I'm saying, like, have you ever looked at your profile? Because people drop by and, like, say shit on here every now and then.
My oldest one is 2009, and it was Brian Dunaway saying, "You need a custom-made avatar." Then the next one,
I
2010.
think you haven't changed your profile pic as long as I've been Steam friends with you, which is like 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I have my face.
It's fine. Who cares? It's just it's your Steam account.
It's my 04 face. This is what I look like.
But since Brian brought it up in 2009, let's talk about it now.
Let's
wild. Talk about it like 20 years later.
That is absolutely wild. Well, anyway, the point is, I don't even remember what the point was. The point was real good, though.
Yeah, even Dan Kai was like, "Wow, I was surprised you don't have it."
This is not a social
shit on your profile picture,
but it's not a social network thing for me. I know a lot of people use Steam that. I just don't. I play games there.
I've never seen anyone else bring it up. Like it's one of those. It's just Scott that gets critiques things, which happens to you from time to time.
I do get that. I don't know why.
No one else gets critiques, but Scott gets all the comments about something he's not doing.
Well, now we have a critique of Twitch because the highlights and running times of people's streams are now being capped at 100 hours.
Oh,
and you're not happy about this.
Breaking news! I just got gifted Forever Winter Poppin' Fresh. What the hell did I just say earlier in the show?
That's because he knows, man. He knows.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of this? They're capping your. I'm not doing Twitch anymore.
I was super pissed off about this, but also shouldn't be shocked. So, they delete past broadcasts for everybody. I think. Even for partners, they do it now. I'm not 100% sure.
They do.
But I've been affiliate for like 9 years.
Yeah.
never making partner. Never partner.
Always a friend zone, never a partner. That's the old phrase.
But, one of the workarounds for this was after a broadcast, I just swing on over to my video producer page, highlight the entire 7-hour VOD, and it stays up.
Yep.
I was like, cool. I guess they want me to do a little bit of chores. It's not against the terms. That's fine. So 7 or 8 years goes by and they're like, dude, people's like highlights are just like out of control. So we're going to delete all of them. You got a month to like figure it out.
Yeah.
And I have 3,000 hours of VODs.
Oh my Lord. That's a lot.
Saved.
That's more than I have Steam games. By about 900.
It's hard to underscore like how much video that is.
Yeah.
And like I've started downloading some, and I've got like maybe 30 videos now, and it's already like a couple hundred gigs. No, yeah, it's like 100 gigs or so. And that's back when I was streaming in 720. Right. I downloaded one of the 1080p ones, and it was like a 7-hour stream. It's like 20 gigs, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? So I can export them all to YouTube, but it's gonna like shitify my YouTube page so hardcore. I have 750 VODs.
Yeah.
To just drop a bunch of 7-year-old, 10 terabytes of video onto YouTube, but I think that's what I have to do unless I buy some, 10 terabyte hard drives and just back them up locally, which I may do. They're memories, it feels like violating to have 7 or 8 years of your it's like not like quality content or whatever in terms of like someone's going to watch it, but it's like my work, my life's work, and or a big portion of my life, doing it. I don't want it to go away. So I feel pretty pissed about it, but I also know that I'm like probably in a very unique position that like there's maybe like 100 people who did this and or something. I don't think it affects very many people.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of pissed about it. I know you don't do the highlight thing to save your VODs, but are you over? Because you have a lot of clips and VODs on
the clips
and your channel.
The clips I have there are probably safe in total because I'm not adding to it right now. So I think
people clip your channel, and I think clips count as part of towards the count.
Yeah, if other people clip it and I'm not aware of it, and that grows and grows and grows, obviously that could work toward a cap. But since moving pretty much primarily to YouTube, I haven't given it much thought. If I were YouTube, this would be a competitive moment for them to go, by the way, we're letting you upload backlog videos in one swoop, but also not having them flood your recent channel. You can date them and put them wherever you want them. A one-click
solution would be fantastic.
Can you imagine if they did that for people? It would be a huge smack in the face to Amazon and Twitch, but it would be pretty great.
Tom DeGhost is in the chat. He streamed, and he said he had 11.5 terabytes of videos downloaded.
That's a lot. Here's the other thing about all that. I don't understand why this is a big deal because, well, two questions. One, Amazon and AWS and all the back end they use for Twitch, storage has never been cheaper in the history of mankind. It's so cheap to store data. It's just not a big deal. So that's, first of all, is the reason I'm surprised they're doing this at all. It's extremely cheap. And then not having a monetization method to say, oh, you want to keep all this up here? That'll cost you $4.99 a month. The fact they're not doing that blows my mind because that's just huge profit for something that costs them pennies. So I don't understand, A, why they're doing it, or B, not giving people a paid way out, especially for Amazon.
It's also throwing the towel in on the VOD thing. Because, like YouTube's always like, yeah, we're a VOD service, but we play in the streaming area.
Right.
And it's like Twitch signaling, yeah, we don't do VODs.
It is that, yeah.
Unless it's viral, we don't care. Unless it's like 10 seconds.
And you can see why, because nobody's going. See, I think that's what's driving this.
They're not working on it. They're not just like...
Nobody goes there.
There's a VOD section that they're like, maybe it's not popular, but they're like, it's part of their robust service of offerings. They're just like, actually, we're out.
Plus, there's nobody goes and digs through VODs.
No, I know.
Twitch,
but they might find a way to, whatever, like compete at some level. Like the meta for a lot of Twitch streamers is to stream on Twitch and export like their react to something 40 minutes onto YouTube. Twitch could just keep it in house, and like the only reason it goes to YouTube is because more people like using YouTube. But Twitch could try to compete by offering a good service in that regard. Like we've often criticized YouTube to provide better streaming tools, which they still could do better in. So anyway,
yeah, no, it's the whole thing's weird. Speedrunners are pissed. I noticed they're really mad about this.
Because they save their highlights of their speedruns, right?
Yeah, and that stuff's a big deal. Like,
and why would you want it on YouTube? Like if you're like, my rationale was like, I don't want to have a YouTube page full of like 7-hour VODs, but if somebody wanted it or I wanted it, like all my Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer playthrough, maybe at some point I would like to edit that together into a 30-minute thing. So it's helpful to have it stored on my Twitch page, which I produced work for you, so like, please just keep it on a hard drive. I don't know, like it's pretty dumb. Yeah, honestly,
I don't love anything about it. So
all that to say is don't rely on Twitch to save your VODs at all.
I predict a rollback. Watch in the next week. I'll bet they.
So the deadline's April 19th. If I download or find solution for it and they roll it back, I'm going to be so pissed.
Oh, man, that's what I mean. It's got to be soon. I'm not going
to take a chance. I need to solve this. And then, yeah.
That's what I mean. It'll have to be soon because people are going to be pissed that they found workarounds and then they didn't need to do them. Like they need to, this is going to just erode. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad for Twitch. They shouldn't be doing this. It's really annoying. Your video service.
It's just a share, but it's not like it's like, oh, I'm 300 hours over. It's like I'm 3,000 hours of content over. Like, it's like a streaming over 7 to 8. It's not like they let it go for a year and went, oops. They like let me do this shit for like 8 years, and now I've got like a big, massive chore and headache in my plate.
Yeah, nobody wants any of this.
People are wondering. I haven't been streaming in a little while, and it's because I've been sick. But then I got this thrown in my face, and I'm like, I don't want to generate more content. I have to figure out how to back up. So it's kind of just put a big like stop on it for now. It's kind of annoying.
No, it's like really disheartening. It makes you not want to contribute to the platform. Yeah. That's why I don't think they're thinking this through. This isn't like saying, like when Amazon said, hey, we're going to start introducing ads again, even though Prime Video is supposed to be no ads. We're going to put some ads in. And if you want out of that, that'll be an extra $1.99 a month or $2.99, whatever it is. That's one aspect. Nobody was happy about it, but most people said, fine, it's $3, fine. I don't like what you're doing. Don't do it again. But I want the content, so I'm going to do it. This is not that. This is you as a creator making them a platform that is vibrant. And if you want to be encouraged to make shit so that their platform is vibrant, don't take things away from the people making the content for your site.
Yeah,
that's so dumb.
Having it like disappear into the ether is just a feels bad moment. So it's like you've got to
It's dumb.
Now, I have to use YouTube if I want to save it. They have zero options for me to save my work.
That was
maybe it's just me being overly sentimental. Oh, well, that's the kind of
Sure.
streamer I am.
Sure.
I want to save my work.
No, you're like most people, dude. Most people want to keep their shit.
I feel like most people feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone. All right. Well, that's it for today's news. We're now going to cap this show at half its run length while the other half waits for our break. We're going to go take a little pee break. This is all I'm not saying it the way I meant to, but just know this. We're going to go take a break. When we come back, we got more stuff like the games we played this week, some of your calls, texts, emails, that stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back. And there's no Dear Martha because John's not here. What are we going to do? Soil his awesome idea while he's not here? No.
I didn't think of it fast enough. I might have come up with something.
Oh, darn it. Well, look.
But it's this thing. I'm not going to, fine.
We're not going to take candy from a baby, or that's not the right phrase, whatever it is. We're not going to do it.
We've had Beau Corner. We've had lots of talk about poo and colonoscopies today. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about games we played, which I'll play this now. But here's the thing. We usually do like a shared gaming thing right now. And because John's not here, we're not going to be able to talk about what he thought of the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I will say that Beau and John, mix your names together, are going to, since they both finished the game, you guys are going to do a little spoiler cast, be like one of our monthly host specials. Probably share that with everybody, though. It'll be one of those I want to make sure everybody gets. So that's coming soon. So if you're hoping for the grand finale of John's experience in Rebirth, you're going to have to wait a little bit. However, we got a couple of calls about this very topic, and I'm going to play them now in lieu of that so we can bring it up around the Final Fantasy conversation. So here you go. Beau, I think this is mostly for you. Here we go.
Hey, Core Crew. This is Shane calling in. I am just curious what Beau's experience has been now in terms of performance with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC, having a not so great experience on PS5. I hadn't had the same experience on PS5. I am about halfway through on hard mode now and have loved every minute of it. And I don't seem to have the same issue, but curious if it actually has been that much better on PC. Thanks.
I mean, I assume your overall frame rate and like PC specific things have been better, but do you think it's just patches on PS5 have brought it closer to par and that kind of thing? Because it's
possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. I know there's some texture pop in with it on a slower machine. I think I remember experiencing some of that on the console. It depends, I guess, on your tolerance level for it. It's not mind blowing, but the game is very hyper diaper, especially like in combat sequences. That it's very noticeable to me. I think the big thing is if you're used to 120 frames minimum, and then you go to low frames, it's jarring and feels low quality. I think a lot of people, having been that myself, and when I was gaming on my first gen Intel i7 for 15 years. I was used to low frame rates on newer games, and I was just happy to play them and didn't have a solution for it.
Right.
But I think part of it had to do with there's the whole new car smell phenomenon of getting a new console. It's exciting, it comes in a box and it welcomes you, and you spend all this time setting up, and the promise of unparalleled experiences with your console, only to get a fraction of what my PC can already do, informs a lot of my experience, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I bought a Volvo after owning a Lamborghini for sure. Like, what is this shit? I think it has to do with like where you're coming from.
Yeah.
What's that?
I definitely can feel that way. If you're doing 120 frames, even 90 frames, I think I'm doing 144 or some stupid number like that on my PC now. I mean, you go back to a console game, especially if it's like sub 60. 60 is reasonable.
It's important because my screen has a refresh of 166.
Yeah.
So it's not just that it's 166 frames. My monitor's capable of drawing the frames too, because that's an important aspect. Like, if you're getting 160 frames and your monitor only refreshes at 60, it'll be smooth, but you don't notice it the same. I lament and miss when I first got the monitor and playing Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
at so many frames, it felt like there was liquid butter. Like my display was just so buttery,
Yeah.
compared to like a decade of playing on low frames. Like it was just this phenomenon that was like, oh, like it's so fluid and so like seamless and operates without hitches. I also have a beefy, specs to back everything up.
Right.
And Heroes being an older game, it ran at max settings, just so lovely. So I don't notice it as much anymore because I'm used to it now, and that's sad. But when I go to like low frame rate, it feels like I've jumped back 20 years in time, and I'm like, whoa, and so I think it'd be hard. Maybe a lot of listeners might not relate to that experience because they don't have that situation.
Yeah. I think I remember when you got your upgrade and
do you have a high frame? Because I thought there's a bit of it like an intersectionality and expense. Like, if you want like a 4K monitor that has 120 megahertz, it's like $1,000 for the monitor. Like it's very expensive to get both.
Yeah.
So I was like, do I want higher resolution or buttery? And being an esports guy, extra frames means if I get more frames than you, I can put my little target on you faster in milliseconds and win. It's an esports edge. Jumping from 60 to 120, you get diminishing returns, I think, after 120. Linus Tech Tips did a pretty in-depth video about it with Shroud and another esports guy. Yeah, so I still game in 1080p, but I swim in butter.
Yeah,
and,
you swim in melted butter, and that is the place to be. I agree with you 100%. I got a 1440p monitor and not 4K for two reasons. One, it was way more expensive for a 4K.
Yeah, 4K is super expensive.
And I feel like 1440p is a really nice middle ground. Like it's basically...
It's also, you're also not like on an 80-inch monitor, so the pixel density is still nice at 1440. Like,
yeah,
I think 4K is almost overkill in a way.
I think it's way overkill, and I'm also running at, what is this, 36 inches, something like that, 32? I can't remember. I really like this monitor. Has built-in NSYNC for NVIDIA stuff, and so I don't use VSync, which uses resources. And I'm using a 4080 last-gen GPU, and it's so buttery smooth with stuff that's very demanding that when I see...
Do you have high refresh on your 1440?
Oh, yeah. 444 hertz.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the idea. I think like my next expense, like I want 1440 with that level.
Just feels really good in general. So when I go to a slower frame rate console game, and I like console games, but when I play them, even on this monitor, because right now I have my PS5 hooked up to the same thing. I just switch. I have a switcher. And when I switch over and play a game that I know can run better than that, it's frustrating. But I don't even think this is like PC Master Race stuff. This is just, once you've tasted that, it's really hard to go back. It's just hard to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like you've jumped back in time a bit. And
I wish the console makers would worry less about 4K support across the board, or even 8K in PS5 Pro's case. They're touting all that. That's not where gamers are right now. Maybe Blu-ray people are, maybe that's end of it. But what people really want...
It's probably the TV dissonance, because it's not like people are clamoring for 120 refresh TVs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they can't... Like, you could be like, oh, my console does 120, but like no TVs support it because everyone hates motion smoothing.
Yeah.
And, movies are like, 24 frames. Like, it's just... There's no need. No one's clamoring for 120 frame TV shows and films. In fact, they almost prefer the opposite. So when you're making a console for TVs, it's like solving a problem that isn't a thing for TVs. So it's this weird. That's just being an educated gamer and having those kinds of needs. You're unique and not mainstream, I think.
Yeah.
In that regard.
When Megas. I screwed up and boy banded my monitor. I said NSYNC. I meant G-Sync is what I meant.
G-Sync. Yeah, I got G-Sync too.
Not NSYNC. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking NVIDIA. It went in my head that way. I wasn't thinking about the band. Bye. I wasn't thinking of any of those things. It's got to be May. None of that. Or May.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Now, I still want them to push for like 8K gaming because... I want the VR headsets to get better and more.
See, that's the funny trade-off is you want the display tech to continue to improve, but just be best applied where it's best applied, right?
Yeah, because like when you strap these screens to your face, those pixels get real big. So you want to, the tech to make them small and to process graphics at that level is a good thing for VR, but we're not there yet.
Nope. All right, we got this one too about JRPGs, Final Fantasy, kind of in the same area, so that's why I'm playing this one too. Here we go.
Core crew, my screen name is Incrediplum. I've been recently into JRPGs. Last year I played Metaphor Refantasio, and that got me to pick up the Persona games. I've also played games in the past couple of years like Dragon Quest XI and Octopath Traveler 2. I was debating playing the Final Fantasy VII remake series. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, so I was just wondering your guys' opinion on if those are worth playing, even if I haven't played the original, or if I really need to play the original to truly appreciate the remakes. Again, love the show. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so from my perspective, I never got very far in the originals, the PlayStation 1998 original Final Fantasy VII. Beau, on the other hand, like childhood,
formative, very important game. Yeah,
right. So in your case, I think you're the best person to answer this. Do you think remake and rebirth, it's for the true feeling of it all? Do you need to go back and play the OG game?
No, I would say at this point too, having played two of them now, I would say no. There is like some nodding towards this fate and destiny thing and how it alters the past, but it's like very judiciously handled, and knowledge of the original doesn't. It's tough, having played it. To me, it feels like it probably isn't super necessary. You're probably going to have a good time. So I would say no.
Yeah.
Especially. Yeah, I think I would just say no. I would just jump into the more modern version, unless you're into classic gaming, because it is a rough play in this day and age. Even though there's some very good mods that add full voice acting now, and 60 frames per second widescreen support, which I'm actually interested in trying out. It's still, I just don't know if the impact's the same. The impact of the story, the production value they've put on these new games is pretty incredible. It's pretty peak. I would just play the new ones personally, unless you really, going after an old game. Usually you have I play older games every now and then, and when I decide to do that, it's because I have it's not on a lark. It's I want to experience this important thing. And you may play the new ones and feel like you may get curious. Even me, I think at some point I'm probably going to play the original again, because what's happening in the story, it's a long time ago. I remember the big parts, but there's small details where I'm like, is this the same or is this different? And I kind of want to go back and experience the original again to sort of think about how I feel about the new ones in a good way, not in a
right.
Not in a, did they do this right? I need to examine this and compare. It's more just I'm curious how this was handled, because I'm curious about how different it is. I think for me, what resonates about Final Fantasy VII, again, is I've said this a couple times now, is the unique base it fills in fantasy, where it's it's one of the only games I can think of where you play as Greenpeace. Terrorists that are trying to save the environment, doing the terrible, awful thing of trying to save our planet.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so awesome, and it is a big part of why it lives up. So I'm wondering, and also the commentary that the government is also a corporation, and basically it's a corporation that just runs things and grinds smaller people into dust to fuel its city. There's a lot of allegory that's just super unique to that, not even just the Final Fantasy franchise, but to RPGs in general.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to go back and see how the attitude has shifted, and if this goes harder on that, or should it go harder, or just even the feeling of that. It's a really interesting aspect of this particular game, and
it's very subversive stuff for sure. If you have some kind of retro playing device, like a handheld or even a Steam Deck, a PC, a Mac, any of those things, you can pretty easily throw Final Fantasy VII, the OG one, up and at least get a taste for it. It is fun to see that. I did a bit of that when I was playing Remake, and it was just fun to go back and, oh, here's how they did that scene. Wild. Or now this boss fight's this much different. Like from the historical perspective, it is fun to look at it that way. The other thing I was going to say, somebody asked me the other day if I could build a government with the current positions that at least the U.S. government has for different cabinet positions, but I could only choose from video game people to fill those positions. I would get Barrett to be my EPA, my Environmental Protection Agency guy. He could be the guy.
Hell yes.
See him at a cabinet meeting with his big old Gatling gun on his arm. Damn it, we got to do this with the water and the rivers and the whatnot. Like just getting mad.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great.
Save the planet. Yeah. The environment's getting killed.
Easily that's the guy I'd hire. No problem. Yeah. He might look dumb in a suit, but whatever. We'll work that out.
Oh, that's great. That's a great moment.
Yeah.
Sailor Barrett. I think there's new things. I don't think there was a Sailor Barrett in the original, and Sailor Barrett is, worth seeing.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you do there, dude who called. We were very curious.
The game is very close to the original, like just even in terms of boss fights and monsters. Like, it's not just like 20% the same. It's like 85 to 95% the same.
Yeah.
Very small variations. And a lot of it is just this timeline thing they're doing, which is not Marvel. What's the proper timeline deal? It's just more of a mystical, magical thing that's part of Genova's, sort of deal that hasn't fully been answered yet. Honestly, we'll probably find out what that all means in the conclusion. But having played 1 and 2, I'm like much happier about it than I was before playing 2, when it was like, I don't know, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
The second entry was very satisfying to me.
Yep. So. Third on the way, so watch for that. All right, let's get into some games I played. I played a game called, I got no time this week to play pretty much anything. I've barely touched the new WoW patch. I've been swamped up to my ass with stuff, mostly family related, just busy trading around who's doing what and whatever for my mom. It's been a little bit bananas on this end, so I haven't had much time for much. I did play a game that came out in 2023, and I'm annoyed that it took me this long to discover it. Speaking of the family plan on Steam, this was one of my kids had this game, and I hadn't even heard of it. It came out May of 2023. It's called Planet of Lana, Lana. You could say Lana, I suppose.
Okay.
It is wonderful, this game. I don't quite even know what to compare it to. It's you might look at it and go, oh, it looks like that game John hates, Inside, or what's the other one where it's all black and white?
Inside gets such a bad rap on our show.
It really does. I actually think Inside's pretty good, but I also think John has points with that. But the Limbo, that's the other one. You might look at it and go, oh, is that kind of one of these? In a way, yes, in that it's modern and gorgeous and, all the trappings of newer tech and everything else. That's true. But it plays more like those old games like it just left my head.
Looks gorgeous.
What's the old Genesis game where you were a dude, you ran, you hung down from stuff, kind of Prince of Persia style. What is that called? Right. My freaking brain. Out of This World is like it too. Flashback. Shit. It's like Flashback.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Plays like Flashback, a little bit like those Oddworld games, like the Abe's Odyssey games, because it's puzzly, moments of intense, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die if I don't do this right. You die a lot. You start over real quick at your last little place, and you get chances to redo things. And it's all told in this like absolutely beautiful art style. The characters speak a language that isn't real, but they're on some planet. It's hard to explain all that, the backstory, but the actual gameplay is just fan-freaking-tastic. The visuals are...
Flashback's a good comparison. Oh, yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah, very flashback gameplay-wise, which I'm a giant fan of. And it's really evoking all of that. And I'm in love with this thing. It's really, really great. And I would highly recommend this, like, nobody heard of it game. I mean, obviously somebody did. It's got 6,000 reviews or something, 4,000.
Yeah, but I've never heard it discussed.
Yeah.
It's been out since 2023.
Yeah, 93%. That's basically overwhelming. You can't do much better than that. And it's beautiful. It's really cool. And I'm having a ball. And it plays great on Steam Deck, plays great on PC. Doesn't matter where you play
I've
it.
never heard of this. It looks cool as hell.
Yeah, it feels like one of these games that just did not get any marketing from whoever published it. It looks like it's developed by some team called Wishfully, and the publisher is Thunderful Publishing. But I'm going to say this about Thunderful. They did not promote this effing game very well.
Yeah, like there's this part where you're riding on a robot in the desert. And there's these giant robots. Have you seen that part yet?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah, the scale is really cool. Just the feeling of accomplishment.
Hell, man? Like,
I know.
How did this game like not register?
It's a bummer. They published the SteamWorld stuff, and I certainly know about those, but those are also kind of known quantities, so maybe that's...
And like they're showing their reviews. It's like the game got reviewed well from the sites that they're, IGN.
Oh, yeah.
Like 9 out of 10. Like,
deserved.
I just feel like I never saw a trailer for this. I've never seen this game before. And it's like almost 2 years old already. It's crazy.
Yeah, it needs some love, so go check it out. I think it might even be on sale. Hold on. Yeah, $9, $9.99 right now.
Yeah, it's 50% off and looks phenomenal. Holy shit.
Yeah, normally $20. Very cool game. Can't say enough about it. Planet of Lana. Don't sleep on it. It's very, very, very cool. And that's all I played. I had no time for nothing else. So, Beau, we swing it over to you. You played a game I played last week, which was 2 Point Museum. What did you end up thinking of it?
Yeah, so I bought that on the show last week because it sounded cool based on the pitch. And I never really played a 2 Point game before. The museum idea definitely intrigued me more than the hospital or school.
Same.
So yeah,
I think the theming
got
is
over
better.
the hump. I've mostly been playing like wrapping up hard mode challenges on Final Fantasy XI. So this was like a nice different style of game to play after playing like an action RPG. It's so far I like it. I think there's a lot to unravel. I haven't played a 2 Point game before, so I started with the campaign that it tells you to do. Mm-hmm. When you click sandbox, it says you should do the campaign first and learn how things work. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I was being pretty slow with it because it's there's this creativity aspect setting up your museum. So I didn't fill my museum only to realize a little too late that you actually manage more than one museum in the campaign, at least. I was like, oh, so it's I feel like I screwed up my first museum because I was saving a bunch of room for other stuff.
Yeah.
But now there's once you do this prehistoric jaunt and finish and learn how the game works, then you go to there's either a supernatural museum or a water museum. And I was like marine life and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, there's 3 museums and there's a lot of depth. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I've just scratched the surface, even though I think I've played maybe 5 hours. Hang on,
pretty decent amount.
3 hours. Oh, felt like more. Okay, but anyways, I love this game. I'm gonna play it more. It's cool. It's just got that creativity where it's you're running a sandbox, so everything operates without your intervention, but you'll lose money or make money depending on how you make things. And judging by I haven't gotten nearly as complex as what the trailer has. It seems like you can actually put a lot in your museum, and make really big museums, and you can manage the flow of traffic with one-way stops and stuff. It seems like there's a lot to it that I haven't dug into yet. But it's definitely so far deserving of all the praise. I'm digging it a lot.
It's really good.
Yeah.
What do you think of the meta game of sending out your Indiana Jones guys to bring back artifacts and stuff? I really like that part.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that they added a loot box mechanic without having to pay anything. That's basically what it is, right? You just go out and come back, and you're like, "What's in the box?" Sometimes you're like
treasure
got
chests.
That exhibit.
It's like treasure chests in Diablo. It's a little more I found this thing. I'm going to open it now. Let's see what's in it and that works as a mechanic. It's fun. And
but I mean, archaeology is probably the original loot box, right? It's like, I'm going out to dig some sand. What's in the sand? It's like maybe it's just a rock, or maybe it's the Shroud of Turin or whatever. So it's awesome. I'm digging it. I will be playing more. I've just been bouncing around between a couple games, but like it had that effect of like, let me just check this game out for 30 minutes, and then I played it for longer than I intended because I was like, I want to complete the next goal on the checklist and make a room, and then you're like, I don't like how I made this room. I got to go back and paint the floors a different color. Like I was doing stuff like that, right? I wasn't speeding through the checklist. I was like, what are the types of carpets I have available?
When they let you do that, really the right easy.
Is this the right carpet that goes with dinosaurs? I need to find the right carpet. Like, there's just a lot of stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah, you can you can feel like a room is shit and go, I want better tile, and you can do it in like no time flat. Change your mind 5 more times. It's not going to cost you anything. The game is very loose with the reconstruction rules, which is great because I want to move that dinosaur to the other side of the room. I don't have to destroy it. I don't have to pay to move it. I just pick it up and move it. The game knows where to be a game, and
it's got a lot of fun assets. Like what I love? I love the little museum when you walk into a museum and they put posters.
Sure.
Like just these weird posters because it looks aesthetically cool. Like just stuff like that. I'm just like, man, I like these posters.
Yeah, they're rad.
Like it's just like a weird little thing, but like I'm clicking through screenshots and I'm like, oh, there's new posters for different types of exhibits. Awesome.
Some of the exhibits are ridiculous. Like they just showed one that's like a man-eating plant, or before that, a vampire you discovered somewhere, and he just sort of hangs out in his exhibit. So it's silly and funny. The game's
also ridiculous. Like I've got like a bee like encased in amber. And I guess one of the attendees really liked it because he was kind of humping, like he climbed on top of it, was just hugging the whole amber thing. And I was like, you can't do that in a museum.
Like, you get kicked out.
Yeah, but here it's just silly. But it deserves all the praise. It's really good. I haven't played. It makes me curious now about the old ones, but like not yet. Like I'm going to play this one. I think the museum aspect is cool. Like,
I think that helps a lot. Colorful. It does. The other stuff's good. The other two are really good. They just thematically. Well, also, I just think they finally just really fine-tuned their thing that they do in this one.
Yeah, there's something to it where like this one probably controls the best. The lessons from the first two are like in full effect, and just seems to have a lot of assets. It's colorful, and it's a museum. I don't think I've played a museum video game. I'm sure I've probably played some business simulator at some point, but
not a museum though, eh?
The museum thing just really appealing. Yeah.
Well, there you go. 2 Point Museum, still a threat. I love it. Beau loves it. Maybe you will. $30 on Steam and on consoles.
Early contender for Game of the Year, honestly.
Yeah, I really like it. You've had time for all the new WoW shit. How's that going?
Yeah, missed you, buddy.
I know.
Raid last week.
You guys not only raided, you freaking took down the whole thing. You won.
Yeah, well, So Undermine came out, I guess, last week, but you and I didn't play it, right? So this past week was when they opened up Mythic Plus and the raid and, the start of that content.
The new season, yeah.
So I finally was like on Monday or Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I played a bunch over the weekend, basically. I was like, oh, the new season's here and we're going to get to raid soon. I better go in and check it out. And it's pretty cool. I think the new zone is the Goblin Undermine, like almost another city. Like War Within already has like Dornegal and Azkajet or whatever it's called. Gesundheit. It has the Spider City, and it's even got like Hollowfall, so it's kind of weird to just be like, here's another city, but it is Undermine. It's a goblin city, and the music is phenomenal. It's the first thing that'll jump out at you. The vibe is pretty cool in terms of it's like a trashy urban setting. It's what you'd think, like they nailed like the goblin vibe to it. It's cool. And there's some story quests to do. You get a car. You can glide on the car. That being said, I don't think, for me, it's not hitting like Dragon Riding's hitting. It's just like a fun little thing for this thing, but I don't think I want that kind of writing permanently in the game, because the amount of geometry you bump into constantly is pretty aggravating.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And yeah, it's more quests. It's cool. You can do surge pricing and do your Uber driving. There's a lot of like nods to like labor jokes that are like prescient for Blizzard. You know, like when you are doing your jobs, you have to take a legally mandated 30-second break. You know, but it's a goblin place. But even goblins have rules, even though it's like obviously everyone's trying to cheat everyone else in this terrible town.
Games are good at sending messages like that. I like that stuff.
The one thing I will say is, like, it didn't take me long to get through the content. Like, you know, you're like, oh, it's an MMO. Like, I'm going to be busy for months. Basically, one afternoon, I got through all the quests. And another afternoon, I did the 2 new delves. There's Tank Brand now. He's terrible.
Wow. Heard about that.
Not for the reasons people are complaining about. I guess he was, like, unkillable, and they nerfed him a bit. But, I don't know, in one boss fight, he just stood in the poo the whole time. Like, there's a boss they added that put the poo on the ground. Yeah. And I was like, get out of the poo. You're going to die. And he didn't get out of the poo. And he died.
They should have labeled him Scott Gerp Johnson 2007. And then it would make sense that he stood in the poo.
I don't know. I can't comment on your 2007 gameplay, so maybe that's true. But
pretty bad back then.
It's actually nice to have a tank on there, but you know, his AI is not very well programmed, so I find myself swapping the tank to do tier 11s.
Yeah.
But I did the 2 new delves. They're great. And then I've done like the side questing and the surge pricing. Like, I feel like over the course of about 2 days, I've seen all the new content and done it. Like, I'm done.
So other than repetitive raid stuff, there's like there's stuff to farm. Do you want a new backpack? You can farm. There's trash piles you can dig out of for like goodies and for market research. So if you want to do a ton of that and get like a mount or something, you can do that. But like, you know, that's optional shit, right? Like It's like whatever. Right.
Yeah. So all that's left is like, you know, raiding and Mythic Plus. And so we raided last week, and like our team is like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, we've raided together, so we're doing normal Undermine. A lot of us are geared pretty well. We kind of one-shot the raid on Friday.
That's what Tanner was telling me.
But you're not missing out. Like, if you want to come and join us for raid, we're probably doing we're not. There is kind of a race, but we all felt people need to get gear and stuff, so we're probably gonna like do a few weeks of normal before we move on to heroic. There's just no rush. So
yeah,
I wouldn't. If you're planning on playing for Undermine and want to get the raid experience, it's not like we're jumping to heroic as well. The raid is awesome. It's basically a casino.
Yeah.
The Galagio, and like there's like Rick Reverb, who's like this floating guy who does Lucio sound waves.
Yeah.
There's a one-armed bandit who's just a giant slot machine that you gotta fight, which is also super hilarious. I like that one a lot. Muggsy's in here. He's like an ogre who's like, you know, a gangster, and he was a tough fight. It took us quite a few tries, like 5 or 6 maybe.
Are there any resort fees to pay in this casino just to make fun of resort fees? Do they do any of that?
I mean, yeah, I think there's all kinds of ways to spend on things there. Yeah.
Bastards.
No, they need gold. Nobody works for free.
No.
No, it's cool. The vibe is definitely really good, and the raid is really funny and entertaining. So I think it's worth experiencing. You should come at least, you know.
Oh, I'll be in there. I just haven't had time to do anything with it. But
when you get time to do it, we should definitely run it because it's worth experiencing. And you know, it's the funniest thing is like it's a bit spoilers, but post raid, ownership of the Galagio like is in question. So you have to hire a lawyer, a goblin lawyer, and the goblin lawyer has you do all these like underhanded deeds to get things, and then it culminates in a giant courtroom drama, goblin style. And that like the story stuff is worth experiencing. It's definitely really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I even think the lawyer's name is like Marty or something like that. Like, I can't remember the last name, but it's like just classic sleazy lawyer stuff.
I'm glad they leaned into that stuff. I think that's great.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go goblins, go all the way in on those those little bastards.
Yeah.
You know.
So the good news is that I think you're gonna enjoy the story content, and it's not like, oh, I gotta grind for a month to play this. It's like you can drop in, do the story quest, grind up. So I'm already at like level 10 of 20 on the rep, played 2-3 days maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm probably just gonna stick around for some Mythic Plus maybe in the gear grind. That's enjoyable for a little bit, but I don't. It's that whole thing where you go hard on the X-Pack launch.
Yeah.
But I probably won't be playing as hard for this tier of content as I did then, but it'll still be an enjoyable thing for us to do.
And part of it is because you really over-tiered last time. I got into it, I got into, we were doing heroic and I wanted to have gear, but the gap doesn't, it feels like my gear's still relevant because I worked so hard last time. I'm not like, I need to get 50 eye levels. I'm like, I was already doing like 1.2 mil DPS in the new raid, that it just seemed like enough. But there might be a little bit of that. I enjoyed the challenge in Mythic Plus, so we'll see. Yeah.
But I'll hear from John if I don't play some other new games. So
yeah,
I need to play some other games on my list. And he's not wrong, actually, because that backlog doesn't get any smaller while I'm playing World of Warcraft. So.
It don't shrink without you playing it, I guess. Well, that's cool. There you go. Team Fusion, Core Within. Congratulations, everybody on those teams. You've cleared normal. Now comes
I only have 4 raid teams, so I'm just going to do the whole thing. If you still want to play World of Warcraft, want to play with cool people, our numbers are still growing. And there are 4 raid teams raiding. So there's lots of people to play Mythic Plus with and raid with. So it's nice to have a game where you have numbers, I guess, and can find people. Because sometimes guilds, it can be, it can get dead or people can move on. But we've got healthy attendance and participation. So
yeah, the Core Guild is doing great overall. Just doing great.
Props to Tanner, the guild master, he puts a lot of effort into organizing the Discord.
He definitely does. Dude rocks. Okay, let's get to. We have one more call. This is a great one because I have an answer for it immediately, but I have no idea what Beau will say to this. This is from Germany. It's not in German, thank goodness, because I wouldn't know what he was saying. But he has a question about arcade machines.
Hey, Scott, John, and Beau. Mike from Germany here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. But this 10 hams voicemail thing makes it really easy to leave messages, so I thought I'd give it a shot. My question to all of you is, what arcade cabinet would you like to have in your living room? I guess Scott might have an easy answer to this, but I'd love to hear from everybody. Bye.
Okay, so I grew up with literal arcade cabinets in our living room when my dad had arcades. It was great because they were all, when they weren't in an arcade or we would buy them new and need to fiddle with them or put new boards in them, they were always here at the house or my dad's house, and we would just have basically an arcade in our house. So I've had this experience growing up. But today, if you said, Scott, just any arcade machine right now in your house in perfect, arcade condition, it's Joust every time.
Yeah, you're a Joust guy.
I love it. I love Joust so freaking much. Not Joust 2. That was a shitty sequel. But Joust 1 is one of the best games of all time. So, Beau, what would you put in there?
All right. So, not a complicated answer, but first off, I'm like a pinball guy.
I didn't know that.
I like arcade machines, but I'm definitely, you throw me in an arcade and you figure out what transfixes me. Turns out silver balls bouncing and making noises and the machine going, you've got a high score. Just does it for me. And I always gravitate towards the pinball machines. Now I really hate frustrating pinball machines that have wide open holes for the balls to go in.
Uh-huh.
But I know they're designed to eat your quarters, so that's how they work. But I don't have a specific pinball machine. I don't have the same background as you with arcades, but
sure.
Every time I'm in an arcade, I'm looking at the pinball machines. I'm like, yeah, X-Men's there, but pinball, man.
Yeah.
So
X-Men pinball.
And it was kind of sad as I have a pinball. There's a pinball place really close to my house. I should actually go there more.
You should go there. If I ever get you down in Vegas, we're going to go to the Pinball Museum. They have unlimited.
I was so.
It's so cool.
I was so obsessed. As a young person, I would try to make pinball tables, but with elastics and hammer nails and pieces of wood, and they were like, I'd be like 12 or like something, like they were garbage, like complete total garbage, and like marker to mark like things on the table. Like I was always just obsessed with pachinko machines and like pachinko like things and pinball, like balls making noise, ding ding dinging. That's my hook.
That's great. I love that. I wish
So
you still had those. I want to see pictures of these made up machines that you made. That's cool.
I also have this like nostalgic memory. I don't know that I want it in my house, but there was this like, the table machine, arcade machines, like that played video game on a table rather than standing up.
Yeah, that's what I have over there. It's like an old moon crested, but they call them cocktail models.
So do you remember a machine that was like had a hologram graphics called Time Traveler?
I remember
you can fight with swords. You will get images of it and maybe even video. But
Time
like,
Traveler.
I think it's called Time Traveler.
You might be right. Let's see. Time Traveler, 1991 game developed by Sega, known for being the world's first holographic video game. This is it.
Right. So it was at a museum. Incidentally, it was this machine that I thought was so cool because it's like an FMV game, but like Dragon's Lair. But it was like on this black surface, and the hologram would appear, and like you'd have to do the inputs properly. Here, I'll like link you.
Is this right here?
Video.
I'm seeing it. Obviously, we're seeing it in 2D here because.
Yeah, you're seeing it 2D, but it was like on a table and it was holographic. I believe that. Yeah, that's the game.
Look at that girl, dude. Sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely cringy as hell, but like you would play it on this table, and I think it would be awesome to. I just haven't seen a Time Traveler table in decades.
I have a vague memory of this 3D or the 3D effect of this and seeing this somewhere. I don't think I.
Yeah, like seeing it like in 2D, it doesn't really capture the vibe. But it was like a cool sci-fi toy when I went to the Museum of Science and Technology here in Ottawa, and then they had this like crazy arcade machine. Yeah, mostly you played as a cowboy that traveled time and would shoot the bad guys.
I like that they've got these 3 geometric shapes in the back just to remind you that there are 3D qualities.
Yeah, this is 3D, by the way. Like it's
this is great. Oh my gosh,
it was awesome. So like, I don't know that I'd want it in the house, but when you say like as like a kitsch collecting thing, I'm like, yeah, I definitely would want to play this again.
Oh my gosh, look at this real time action crap where you got to jump over these Daleks or whatever the hell those look like.
Yep.
Weird. All right.
So you never had this machine?
We did not. This would have been just after he was out of the business. But wow, I would have loved this. Are you kidding me? It's sort of amazing.
If you ever get a chance to try it, I do recommend it. It's basically Dragon's Lair, but 3D with the shapes in the back to remind you it's 3D.
Plus, you got full motion video capture going on, McCree style. It's pretty great.
Yeah, and it's like not a video game. It feels like a little it's almost like VR. Like there's a little person on the table that you're controlling.
Yeah.
Like to a child's brain, it was like mind blowing. I'm like, I want to go play that game again at the museum.
Oh, this is epic. I freaking love that.
Yeah, you should show a picture of what the cabinet looks like too. Like if you Google Time Traveler
Let's
Arcade.
See. Time Traveler Arcade. Here we go. What does that thing look like? Oh wow. Yeah, I remember this. Okay, here you go. Chat. Whoops. That's it right there. Shoot. Let me get it bigger.
Found the most cropped version.
Yeah, it's not a great version of it. Let's see. There's lots of these, but Holoseum. Is that what it's called? No, Holoseum :
Time Traveler.
They must have made a bunch of them because Time Traveler is part of the subtitle of this thing. So they must have put different games in there.
It's possible there was more. This is the one I played. There's possibly other ones, but
wild. I'd love to see one of these in the actual.
I mean, you looked at that thing and you felt like, wow, this is the future of video games. At the time, you're just like, holy shit, I'm playing the most avant-garde game ever.
It looks like a Maytag washing machine.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, they really went with the home appliance vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Like which knob is for air drying? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sega. What are you going to do?
Sega owning still even back then. It's crazy.
Pretty great. Listeners only, go check out, or if you're just listening to the show, go check out the hologram series of games. Time Traveler is the one we're talking about, if you want to see what it looks like.
Yeah. Great question.
Great question.
From Germany.
Yeah, thanks. Was it Mike, I think? Hold on. I want to give him
You
credit.
didn't write
Hey,
the name.
Scott, John, and
down,
Beau.
so
Mike from Germany.
Yep, Mike from Germany. I've
Mike from Germany.
I've never known a German guy named Mike. That's great. I don't know why.
I mean, Michael's like a Christian name, right? So why not?
Why not? Indeed.
I just don't know how you would say it in German, like Michael.
Yeah,
Michael. Like, I don't know what you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to butcher your name, Michael or Mike, but it's just you probably if you're saying it in German, you probably have an affectation that's like German.
Yeah, and we would love to hear it. So send us more.
I'm not going to try butchering it anymore. So
love our German friends. Here is another quick message. A text came to the same line, by the way. 10hams.com will get you here. So go to 10hams.com, leave your voicemail or your text. All are welcome. Keep it coming. If you have beef with me, maybe leave your real name so I feel like I'm not talking to a rando. But if you don't have beef, any other message will do. This one is from Sendak Games, who says, hey, just curious, are there friendly geese in Canadia? I feed friendly geese over here in this park, and they even let me pet them and hand feed them, and their babies. Beau, this is obviously for you. In Canada, can I find friendly geese?
Hold on to your hats, everyone. There's even a Canadian goose.
What?
There's a whole ass goose that is a Canadian goose.
Are they known to be nice or buttholes?
I can't speak for all goose, but there's definitely Canadian goose. If you take a bike ride around Ottawa, you will find them milling about the bike path or in various parts, and they don't run away like most birds do when humans go near them. It's true. They seem pretty friendly, but, and this might be true of the geese you're feeding too, it's not unheard of for them to attack people and to do it like as a mob. Like you'll see 30 or 40 of them together. And if there's food around, they might take it. But if they feel threatened, I don't know. This is just someone's warned me of it.
They're kind of dicks.
Violence can occur. So it's not like you're petting a house cat or something like that. So if there's just one, you might be okay. Although I think they could just not like it. They could just be like, I don't like the look of you. I'm gonna bite your pecker off. They start attacking. Like they have personalities just like any animal.
We have two Canadian geese in our lake over here. They're like near us. Yeah. There are two Canadian geese and a bunch of goslings, and they sound like this. So this is how you know it's Canadian. Let me pull this up. There you go. Oh, let's get some volume on it. That's Canadian specific goose.
Yeah.
And they got those weird teeth in their beak. Like if they open their mouth,
they're like beautiful. It's fun. They you know what? This is bad. I shouldn't admit to this, but they have like this like round plump shaped body that is like a football. That sometimes you think about it, you're like, man, I just want to kick this bird as far as like it can go. But like I've never done that. But the shape of their body has this like kickable quality to it.
Sure.
But they are like kind of pests. So one of the thing too about them is like I used to bike a lot on the bike paths around town, and you know how most animals, when you're riding at them with a vehicle or a bike or something, they scurry away. They see you, they hear you, they get out of the way.
Yep.
Even a raccoon, they would get out of the way, maybe very slowly, but they're still gonna move. Goose won't move.
Nope.
You can ram that bird. Most birds will go. They will not move. It's like a hazard. Do not expect a goose to like be like, oh, a human's coming with a vehicle. Let me get the hell out of the way. It's like you don't exist. Like they just won't.
I had this happen. We had this happen with my dog the other day. I was walking it, and there's a huge crowd of ducks that were all in the way. And as we walk toward them, the ducks scatter. But in the center of the ducks, we didn't see it at first, but in the center of ducks are two of these geese. And they just stood there, stared us down, never moved, didn't do shit.
No, they, and I don't know if it's like because they're city geese and people feed them and they're like maybe just like feel away, or if they're just like that no matter where they are. But yeah, no, it's I've been warned against them being dangerous. I haven't seen any attacks firsthand myself, but judging it by how they don't react when you're barreling at them on a bicycle, I can see them getting ornery. They just have this vibe where it's like be chill, don't attack me. Like when you're walking through 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah.
Be chill, don't attack me. But you're just like, in my mind, it's ever since that warning, I'm like, I could be dead. They could just all turn around and start biting me like little bastards. And they would win. Like I think they would,
yeah.
you know, I don't think I could fend off 30 or 40 of them.
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't want to fight one, let alone that many. But like Rufus in the chat says that isn't there a Canadian Goose vodka brand? That does sound familiar.
Canadian Goose is one of the animals that are in the pantheon of like patriotic animals. You know, like you guys in America have this too, where you're just like, oh, American buffalo or whatever. You know, like you got your like patriotic animals. For us, it's like deer, beaver, and Canadian geese is among them. I'm probably leaving out a couple, but you know, beavers are a big Canadian thing, and yeah. Gray goose. I don't know if a gray goose is a Canada goose.
I did a search for Canada Goose as a brand of vodka, and there's nothing. I only find Gray Goose. So I think that might be what it's
I think like where you might see it is like clothing, maybe as like a thing.
Yeah, I could see.
I don't know. I just know Canadian Goose. Like you would probably see it on. I think. Well, it's not on money because loony is like after the loon, which I think is also a distinctly Canadian bird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have loons in.
Oh, we do. Some wild farm of loon. They're. Whoo, I mean, you can hear them.
Yeah. They're known by their iconic sound. So probably it's a North American thing, but
some kind of thing.
Yeah, Canadian geese, beavers, deer, and well, bears, I guess, but bears are everywhere.
Bears are all up in it. Yeah, they're busy boys. You gotta watch out for a bear.
Yeah, there's just stuff that's like kind of always iconic, like on shirts and stuff. And you go to like the Canada gift shop, there's certain animals you will see more of like embroidered on those shirts than others. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's sort of what I mean.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Thanks for your text.
Canada Corner, everybody.
That's right. Canadian Corner, brought to you by 10hams.com. Send your voicemails, send your texts. Go to 10hams.com today, and it's very easy. You can be anonymous if you want to. I don't care. You don't have to tell us your name. You do whatever you want to do. But it can be a text or a voicemail. We're happy to take them all anywhere in the world. That's going to do it for today's show.
Moose. Sorry, Devastation.
Oh, moose?
Canadian. Moose is a big Canadian animal.
Oh, yeah. People, yeah.
I don't think you have moose.
We have them in Alaska, and we have moose in, but not just, it's somewhere else besides Alaska. Maybe the Dakotas. But we have some moose.
Alaska's weird because it's American, but it's like up with us.
It may as well be you or Russia, I suppose. So yeah. And if Russia has their way, it might be again. Anyway,
want to be neighbors with Russia, so cool.
Well, when you say we, we'll see. We'll see how things.
Well, I mean, the U.S. wanted to be neighbors with Russia, So
yeah, why not? That's going to do it for today's show. Quick reminder that we're supported by your good graces over at patreon.com/ not Play Retro, Core Show. And if you go to patreon.com/ Core Show today, you'll get no commercials ever, pre-show content every week, including today, monthly benefits, including host specials, video game art in the mail, and other cool stuff. So join up today like Quexels, Matthew Hemmer, and Eric Endel. They're brand new, and we welcome them.
Thank you for joining. We appreciate your support.
We thank them.
You can look forward to our spoiler cast.
That's right. If you want more Final Fantasy, you're about to get a bunch. So watch for that. That's again, patreon.com/ Core Show. Huge thanks for your support, and all the more is needed. Frogpants.com/ Core for everything else. Grandpa's going to tell you what we played today. You ready for this? I'm going to do a grandpa voice.
Oh, you're doing grandpa? Yeah, let's hear it, man.
All right, no grandma. So grandpa says,
"Hey, the games we played today were plentiful and a good time. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth." I guess that was John. He's not here. Planet of Lana. No, Planet of Lana.
Grandpa, I played it too.
Oh, shit, that's right. But you beat it as well. Planet of Lana is 2023 game. Y'all missed it. It's very good. 2 Point Museum. Now 2 of us know how great it is. What's wrong with the rest of you, jerks? And that's it. Oh, and some WoW. You played a bunch of WoW.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Thank you, Grandpa. Time for bed.
Take your meds. That'll do it for us. We'll be back next week with more. Hopefully, John will be feeling much better than he is today. May that flu die a fiery death, and John come out of the ashes.
Send them your best wishes over on Blue Sky or in the Core Discord.
Yes.
Get well soon, John, and Skibbity John.
Skibbity John.
So if you put Skibbity in there, we'll know you were watching or listening to the show. So
it's the only way we can take you seriously.
It'd be funny for him to get a bunch of, even though I think he's watching, so it won't be a big secret. But
that's a good point. He is actually watching.
Say, get well soon, Skibbity John.
Yep. And for the rest of you, play some cool games. Come back here next week. Join us. A reminder, we're an hour later than we used to be while daylight savings is in its current state. So for the next 6 months, it'll now be 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So set your calendars accordingly whilst it's like that. That'll do it for us, for me and for Beau, and for the convalescing John. We'll see you next time.
In the menu of life, make your main entree frogpants.com. It's delicious. Delicious.